up. I think both of us got.
You just call it a cool tour.
You like that? You like that? There's plenty more where that came from. That's a good way to start the episode. But I'm excited to be streaming with you guys. If you have questions for us throughout the stream, go ahead and drop them into the question, into the comments. We'll be happy to get to those throughout today's episode. However, before any of that, I just want to be able to ask you how you're doing, Antilev. How was your trip? I know this is one tour removed from being on a little vacation yourself. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good. I had a good vacation, 2 weeks, a week in Norway and a week in Sardinia, an island of Italy. Was pretty epic, but I'm back and ready to rock.
Awesome, man. Well, Raker85 did a really good job jumping in and giving the people what they wanted. So I'm glad we were able to keep the data flowing, get all the strategies out there for everybody. The thing is that the tour was a little lackluster, being city and having some nitros in there, etc. But we're back on track with a little bit of a nitro tour, but a fun one that both you and I were pretty gung-ho on potential going for top 10. I think for different reasons, we both have backed out of that. It's apparently a tour that is very, very popular for top 10. There's somewhere like 13, 14 people going for it. So I think from this perspective, though, we'll kind of get to a lot of what's going on. There's, I think, 510 buffs to review. We'll be talking about the top 10, the movers and shakers, and then as one of the reasons I brought on Raker is because I'd like to have also the me coverage introduced to the rundown as well going forward. So we'll talk about a lot of that going towards the end, but we have a lot to get to, so let's jump into it. First, have to just because I don't have dual monitors, I'm looking on my phone to who all is in the chat. I see Chabot Rita, Adam82, you Antilev, Hana, Yuzkati, Extreme Coast, Juan C, Brian Kirsten, E Deedle in the house, Brian Ravisthrarian, Crainbow, the G Siegel, Larry98, Tim Torch, SM Bros, Sandy, Thoko, and Johnson Jiang. So appreciate you guys all hanging out in the chat. Let us know if audio is good, visual is good. I will just preface it with the fact that I'm using Wi-Fi in this. I'm still on vacation, as you can see by this sand dollar behind me, or not sand dollar, but Sea Star, or whatever it's called. But ultimately, the Wi-Fi is extremely weak. So Antilev, it might be a little choppy. He's not just dancing like a robot, but that is.
I might also be dancing like a robot.
But that's on me. That's my Wi-Fi. But I had to get this episode to you even while on vacation. So that's my commitment to the Stud fam, and happy to be doing that for you guys. With that being said, we have an awesome group of members. So many, though, that I would love to thank individually. I have to give a special shout out to Natenja, our unicorn stud. I had to throw this on last time, but then I noticed it was cut off. So huge shout out to Natenja. He had obviously been one of the biggest contributors, just absolutely, not just to my channel, but many channels. And for some reason, I still had him on Not Duds membership. So I wanted to give it just kind of a little bit more spotlight. So thank you, Natenja. Thank you also to our super studs, Frenzy Fans, Frenzy Grind, Chris Clark, Larry98, Issa, Nat, Jeeves, Kareem, and Wan Zhao. Couldn't do it without you guys. All of these members, really, this is why I take part of my vacation to hang out with you while it's still nice outside, to be able to talk about what's going on this tour. And without further ado, let's talk about the hottest topic. Other than there being no update, news update actually released this tour, that seems to be all everyone wants to talk about. But in secondary, we have a Coinbox driver, Wiggler Gold or Giggler, or my personal favorite. I actually had someone reach out to me. I'll have to. Oh, crazy! Thank you. Welcome to the Stud Tour. Just noticed that. I want to give a proper dedication to this nickname. I really thought it quite funny. Let's just give me 1 second. Yeah. So Count DB nominated the name Gold Diggler as the nickname for this guy, which I kind of like. Giggler sounds, it's kind of fun and seems pretty straightforward. But I like Gold Diggler. Do you have a preference on name? And then let me know what your thoughts are on his starting coverage for this brand new Coinbox driver.
Are you asking my opinion on that?
What do you think, Giggler or Gold Diggler? I'm still debating how we want to reference this guy.
I mean, here's the thing, like, me and people I know, we've been having conversations about it. We don't like the name Giggler. It's just kind of dumb. But the thing is, it's too easy. There's whatever we decide to call it, it's still going to be Giggler.
It's going to be Giggler no matter what.
So I've just sort of accepted that. We've had some good ideas and stuff. I like Gold Diggler or Dirk Wiggler, whatever you want to call him. But the thing is, I don't think you can fight Giggler. So I've just kind of been like, I'll pick my battles. I'll come up with something else that doesn't have like such an easy naming convention, and I'll fight that one. So I'm not going to call him Giggler, but I'm also not gonna wage this war. For the people who've been involved in the community and see what other people are doing, see where the meta is going and stuff, you've probably noticed quite a lot of people are investing in this driver immediately. And I was kind of like, why is this driver so popular? It's a medium hitbox coin box, so it's not even a large hitbox. I don't think it's the best looking alt, it does have the better shade of gold than some of the other gold alts. That does look kind of cool, but it's still a gold alt, which isn't, I don't know. But yeah, the starting coverage is crazy. So I know you're a big fan of this Studfit. Gold Wiggler starts with all 4 RMX Vanilla Lake 2s.
Love it.
So, one of them is a level 6 unlock and one of them is a level 8 unlock, but still, that's like one driver and you knock all 4 of those out. So when we talk about a starting track, first of all, he has 11 tracks. That's a lot. 4 new retros, all 4 variants of RMX Vanilla Lake 2. Then 1 recent retro. Like if you don't get one of the new tracks this tour, then you want to get the Luigi circuits because those are pretty new, so they're still quite valuable. They're pretty paywalled and hard to cover too, from what I've been looking at. It's got a battle track, Cookie Land, which doesn't have, which only has Gold, Luigi Gold Knight and King Mario. So if you don't have either of those invested, and I know a lot of people don't have those invested, this one will take care of Cookie Land for you. If you've been holding out on that. Then 2 of the Sky High Sundays, NNT, and 3 older retros, DK Pass, DK Summit, DK Pass R, DK Summit, and DK Summit RT. In addition to that, 3 ranked appearances, 2 level 1, Sky High Sunday in week 1, RMX Vanilla Lake 2 RT in week 2, and then a level 6 unlock, RMX Vanilla Lake 2 on week 1, unlocked level 6. And then when we look at we'll get to this later, but the top most valuable buffs this tour, 3 of the top 7 are Wiggler Gold. The number 1 most valuable buff is his buff, but his get on RMX Vanilla Lake 2 RT is by far, that's a Coinbox exclusive. Then RMX Vanilla Lake 2, it's not an exclusive, I think, but no, it is an exclusive, but it gets kind of discounted because it's a level 6 unlock. And then he gets Sky High Sunday as well. So 3 ranked tracks and 3 of the 7 most valuable buffs this tour. So if you want to gamble on a new Coinbox driver, this is definitely a good one. Okay. We're having issues with the sound. Anyways, so yeah, if you want to invest, go for it. I think even though it's a medium, even though those tracks are going to get kind of eventually taken over by other medias, other things, I think it's still a good one to gamble on.
I think when you're talking about,
I did it.
I was gonna say I took mine as well, and I've been kind of lagging on some of the Coinbox drivers. I did not go into Gold Luigi, even like King Mario was level 7, but I took this guy to 8, and for me, he just was a no-brainer with Cookie Land, obviously kind of being the star of the show. And you know how I like having a full set being covered. And this is one where some of these are a little harder to cover. Obviously, the 2 are being ridiculously difficult. No top skill at all. And so for me, it's made a lot of sense. Even whether I went for any type of top 10 or anything like that, I think ultimately this is probably the perfect start. My curiosity is, he only has down to go from here. I wonder if it's so good that we've had some of these drivers in the past where their starting coverage is like just amazing. I'm thinking like maybe Peach Happy back in the day. She just was so bonkers good. And then all of a sudden, Nintendo just made every single tour just lackluster after that. So we'll see what happens for Gold Wiggler or Gold Diggler. But ultimately, I think he's an easy investment for a lot of players. I think even if you just take him to level 4 or level 6, those are kind of the two markers for, because you get throughout the rest of the episode. But we have another driver to talk about, Light Blue Me, which is starting coverage. Antilev, you still there, bud?
Yeah, sorry. I put myself on mute because I was reading in the comments people are having issues with static and the sound, and then you cut out for a little bit. I think connection might be kind of degrading.
Okay.
I muted my mic for... Yeah, I'm seeing, like on our Zoom call, it's fine, but I'm looking at the YouTube stream, and it seems like it's freezing.
Just the audio or the camera?
Both. Like it's like buffering.
Okay. Wi-Fi is not great. Let me make sure that. Okay. So it looks like now I have 3 bars on the Wi-Fi. Unfortunately, the Wi-Fi is not great. Can you hear me now? Let me know what you guys think. I can. Unfortunately, the Wi-Fi is not great. Can you hear me now? Let me know what you guys think. It's a little staticky. I get that. So we can always stop this and do this tomorrow, or we can put up with the static.
Yeah. All right. Fine. Let's. People are saying it's a little bit better now. So. Okay. Cool.
All right. Sorry about that, guys. Let's move.
All right.
Yeah. My apologies again. Working from this rental home here at the beach. So my apologies. It does look like I have 3 bars now. I don't know if that's because of the if the mic was causing the problem. I will maybe unplug my mic while you're talking. I'm going to unplug my mic and plug it into a different thing.
Okay, that's a good call. So let's move over to the. Starting with 7 tracks.
Can you start again, just from light blue?
Yeah, sure. The light blue Me racing suit. It's the newest suit. I think this one is in the Spotlight shop or the Me shop. You can buy it for 70 rubies. You said no sound now. Maybe when you put your mic out.
Yeah, you're good now. That was delayed.
Okay, it must be a delay, yeah. The light blue Me racing suit, starting with 7 tracks. It's got Ice Flower, which is one of the worst skills. Not good for multiplayer, not good for scoring. And honestly, it's not a good start. Only one new retro, and that is, hang on, I need to zoom in a little bit to see it. That is RMX Vanilla 2. It is unranked in week 1. And the rest are all of these pretty old retros. I got a Frappy Snowland or 2 in there, got a DK Summit or 2 in there, got a Rosalina's Ice World or 2 in there. It does have a second ranked appearance as Rosalina's Ice World R on level 6 unlock. That's a week 1 ranked track. But if you look at the other options there, honestly, I would probably rather roll, if you don't even have any of those high-end drivers, I'd probably rather roll with a super Pit Crew Toad and his Boomerang. This is a great track for Boomerang. So honestly, a bad start for Light Blue Me racing suit.
Fair enough. Even a whale has a hard time getting excited about any of these non-plus skill Miis. I think even just as I was looking at All Cup ranking and looking at the ice cream Me suit and just kind of going back and forth. If I took it up, to level whatever, it could give me X amount of points. And I can't do it. I just still can't do it. I'm still not at that point yet. And that might change in the future. We'll see what happens. But let's move into karts. We got this chocolate mint soft swerve, which the soft swerves are a decent sized hitbox, large to even extra large. So let's talk about its coverage though.
The Karts 2 are not super impressive, I would say. Chocolate Mint Soft Swerve is maybe the best looking of the bunch. Decent size hitbox. I don't know if you haven't played with soft swerves. I have the Strawberry Soft Swerve at level 7. Actually, I just took it to level 8 this tour. It's kind of around the same size as like the Comet Tail or the Green Comet, Pink Comet, Red Comet there. Maybe slightly narrower. It's a good cart. It's a large cart. It's not a massive cart. It's big enough, I would say.
Yeah.
Starting with 10 tracks, it's got 2 new retros, 2 of the new RMX vanilla, and it's got, RMX vanilla like 1 RT, which is a new RT, and it's got RMX vanilla like 2 RT, which is probably the best track to get this tour because it's in ranked and it's an RT, which are more valuable. But only 2 new tracks, 1 recent track, the Luigi Circuit. As I said before, the buffs we're looking for after the new tracks are the Luigi Circuit. However, that's a level 8 unlock. It is, however, in ranked week 2. If you do feel like going all in, you could use that one twice in ranked. One with that once at level 1 and 1 level 8 unlock. Other than that, it's got a battle track, which is cool if you don't have a cart for that one already. Cookie Land. It's got 1 old Nitro in one of the Sundae variants and 5 older retros. So not a great start, but I would say compared to the other carts this tour, it's probably the best one to invest in if you're going to gamble.
Yeah, when you look at a Cookie Land, there aren't too many large carts. There is Combo Cruiser and the Pink Comet, and that's about it. There's just mostly smaller carts. So having a nice big one here might make sense for some. I think the starting coverage of the Chocolate Mint Soft Swerve above average. I think it's pretty decent for a lot of players. I think from this respect, which I hate to. I think the tough ones might be some of this like SNES vanilla, like 1T or the Frappe Snowland, some of the older tracks, but it gets enough new tracks that I think that make up for it and even put it into a positive light. So definitely enjoy the Chocolate Mint Soft Swerve, and the hitbox is Studfit approved. I love that compared to this little Wild Wiggler, certainly not above the minimum viable hitbox. But let's talk about its coverage. What's your thoughts on Wild Wiggler cart?
So we haven't been able to get a perfect measurement of it yet because it's not available. It's a week 1 reward, but supposedly it's one of the smallest carts in the game. At least width wise, it's super narrow. We're talking like Sheer Mellow, Mushmallow,
wow.
Pink Mushmallow, Birthday Girl, Goo Goo Buggy Narrow. This is a multiplayer card, I would say, with that Jump Boost Plus. Actually, I have some use in multiplayer. The starting coverage is not bad. It has 3 of the Luigi Circuit variants, which is actually pretty good, and that gets one of the ranked ones, the Luigi Circuit RT at level 1. It's also got 1 of the new retros. I think that's RMX. Oh no, it's Vanilla Lake. So not RMX, but just Vanilla Lake 2 RT, which is not in ranked, but it is a new RT track with level 6 unlock. After that, it's got a battle track, the Battle Course 1. Again, you're not going to want to use it unless you're actually doing battle in multiplayer. And then 5 older retros. So I would say the start is kind of similar to the Chocolate Mint Soft Swerve in terms of coverage. It only has 1 ranked appearance, that Luigi Circuit RT in week 2. But honestly, the hitbox on this one is so terrible. I would, even if it had 20 tracks, I still wouldn't invest in it.
Yeah, we've even talked about having the hitbox a bigger part of the algorithm because I think just the general community is going with the larger hitbox and for the right reasons. I kind of like.
You don't need to do only like Blazing Eagles and off-roaders. You can take some kind of, people invest in like Jukebox Buggy and stuff, which is kind of, Lightning Queen Liner, which are medium, but there has to be a kind of, lower bound there.
Oh, for sure. There was just this past tour I was using, Black Turbo Birdo, and I was having a hard time just, with Bowser Santa or whatever, and it just was tough even just getting the coin. So I think this one, I think the shape kind of reminds me almost like the Fast Frank or something. Like it looks like it could be even kind of long,
but even smaller than that.
Even a smaller little hot dog than the Fast Frank. Very nice. Again, I think from that perspective, the chocolate and mint soft swerve looking pretty good. But let's talk about the gold. How's the gold look comparatively? How's it starting coverage?
So that has no new tracks. I know we all kind of clown on the gold carts being like, but yeah, this is actually pretty crap. It has 1 Luigi Circuit, not the ranked one, and it's a level 8 unlock. So the starting value of this one is kind of in the toilet. Let's get Luigi Circuit T at level 8. That's his kind of most valuable buff, most valuable track. Other than that, 6 older retros and 2 nitros. It does have 2 ranked appearances, Rosalina's Ice World R, and Sky High Sundae, and a level 6. So you can use those both week 1, but you probably have a better option. I don't know, Sky High Sundae is kind of a tough one for karts. But honestly, it looks like a pretty typical gold card.
Yeah, with 6 new tracks released this tour.
None of them. That's really disappointing.
That's tough. Yeah, but I think that's kind of par for the course with some of these gold items. We're just expecting it. Let's move to gliders. Let's talk about the melon and banana balloons glider.
These balloons are looking great. I love the color scheme. I'm not the biggest fan of melon or banana flavored ice cream, but I do like Lightning Plus. Melon Banana Blues starting with 9 tracks, 2 of the new retros, 1 recent retro. So we got the SNES Vanilla Lake 2 RT, the new one. That's unfortunately level 8 unlock. It's also got the most valuable track. There's 2 of RMX Vanilla Lake 2 RT, week 2 ranked, difficult one. And then Luigi Circuit N as a level 6 unlock. That are its 3 most valuable tracks. It also gets Sky High Sundae level 6, which is ranked week 1. So it's got 2 ranked appearances, 1 at level 6 unlock, 4 older retros, and then 2 old nitros, those 2 Sky High Sundae variants. It's a decent start, I would say, nothing great. The other ice cream gliders have been pretty okay in the past, so I think it belongs to a kind of good family. The only thing is the gliders of this tour are like relatively strong, especially compared to the karts. So if you're going to pick one to invest in, I'd actually, personally, obviously it depends on your own coverage, but the next glider we have, the Spooky Sprinkles, that one has a really good start.
Yeah, let's jump into it, man, because it's been kind of one of the most popular gliders new to this tour. We even talked about it just on the reaction. So many people were excited about potentially surging even this fall as we get into Halloween and kind of having some ties to both winter tours and as well as also some Halloween and kind of fall as well as summer. So it could potentially kind of run next couple months and just do pretty well. So it's obviously beautiful. I love the color scheme of just kind of having the purple and along with the orange. We don't see that very often.
Yeah.
So let's talk about its coverage, though. How's it look compared to some of the other new gliders for coverage?
Yeah, so I would say a very strong start. Starting with 10 tracks, you got Luigi Circuit RT, one of those. So it's only one of the Luigi circuits, so only one. There's only 4, so getting one is good. So that's the ranked in week 2. It's got 4 new tracks. So it's got RMX Vanilla Lake 2. You can use that in ranked week 1. It's got the SNES Vanilla Lake 2 RT, the new RT. It's got 2 more variants of. So it's got 3 of the 4 RMX Vanilla Lake 2 RTs. The only one misses is RMX Vanilla Lake 2R, and that one has a super top shelf on it, so you don't even really miss it that much. Unfortunately, those RMX Vanilla Lake 2T and 2RT are level 6 and level 8 unlocked respectively, but hey, if you're going to go all in on a glider, this is a really good one to do that. As a bonus, so 4 new tracks, 1 recent track. So 5 of its 10 starting tracks are high quality, and depending on how you coverage is on on battle course, I already have a Black Star Suit level 8 in quad cap. So for me, it doesn't really add anything there. But if you don't have a maxed out glider, that is just a bonus. So you could even say 6 of its 10 starting tracks are valuable tracks. And then it's got 3 older retros, a couple of DK Summits, and I think Vanilla Lake 2R. And then finally Sky High Sundae T. In total, 3 ranked appearances, 1 level 8. I'm going to say right here, I took this one to level 8 immediately. It just fun to get on board with a new glider. It's got that kind of Halloween theme probably, so if we got a Halloween tour come out, it's going to get some good buffs there. I think it's, that's a good one.
Shout out to Jeeves. Jeeves just celebrating his 25th month. He said the same thing. Took it to 805 right away. I think it's a really popular one. I'm
kind of the same with the Gold Wiggler. It's not surprised people are going hard on this one immediately because the start is so strong. It has a high floor.
That's a good point. I will say, sometimes when I'm looking at these slides, it's just so many like images of other gliders. But like when you actually look at it, like, and I've been doing that a lot more often. Thanks to Larry 98 for doing all this work and getting all these images on here. But if you look at it, there are a couple of these tracks where there are some meta gliders on those tracks. There's some that are just definitely lacking. So when you're looking at and you can really tell. I will say this Vanilla Lake 2 that's in ranked. It's pretty hard to cover, unless I think for myself, we have this 8-bit Super. But other than that, it's pretty tough. The Festive Holly's been surging a little bit, and the Ice Mario's Mustache has been okay. But that's a tough one. You have some other tough ones as well. The Vanilla Lake 2 RT is one that a lot of people are struggling on as well. There are a couple new items.
The RMX one, or the regular one.
The Remix 2 RT is kind of what I'm thinking about for week 2 ranked.
Because that's a brutal track to cover. I think on all 3 slots.
Yeah. So again, I think this one covers a lot of gaps, and each account's can be a little different. But you can see some of these tracks have even like that the battle course. This is probably the easiest. I think, in my opinion, this is one of the easiest battle tracks to cover because one, you have a Super, but then you also have a lot of meta gliders, things like the 8-bit 1-Up Mushroom, Bullet Bill, Black Star Shoot. You're kind of looking at that. That's probably compared to say Cookie Land or other ones where it's a little harder. But I think at the end of the day, if you're taking something to 8805, even level 8, it's great to have that on that track. These are tracks that are going to come back almost every tour. So definitely well worth those investments. And then last but not least, for new items, we have this gold chocolate balloons glider. Let's talk about its starting coverage with a coin plus.
Okay, so I'm personally annoyed at this one because I was doing my, so I decided to kind of abandon a full top 10, but I still wanted to make some investments and do a proper ACR run like I was going for top 10, but just not burning enough cat tickets for it. And this one actually covered some gaps for me. So I was like, hey, I'm going to invest in the gold chocolate balloons. And I went like, okay, how can I get it? Is this a gold pass gift? Is it in the Spotlight shop? I assumed it was a gold pass gift or at least commemorative. No, it's week 2 ranked reward, so okay. I can't even freaking use it. So that just like a really, really one of my biggest pet peeves about Nintendo. What they do, they give a track and its starting coverage doesn't even really matter that much because you can't use it. And we can still talk about what its value is from a starting coverage, but I just needed to go on a little rant and just say that
get some therapy.
I covered 2 tracks for me that I had crap options on, and there was no other glider that covered both of those tracks or something. I don't remember exactly what it was. Anyways, starting with 9 tracks, 3 new retros, so that's pretty good. It's 5 older retros, so none of the Luigi circuits, and 1 old Nitro. Sky Sundae R is week 2 ranked. We've also got the level 8 unlock RMX Vanilla Lake 2N in week 1. In addition to that, the other new tracks it gets are RMX Vanilla Lake 1 RT, that is a level 6 unlock, and RMX Vanilla Lake 2R. Neither of those previous ones are in ranked, but on the whole, it has actually a pretty decent start. The fact that it has ranked tracks is just dumb and pointless, and really gets on the nerves. But what can you do? Yeah.
No, I'm with you, man. It sucks that they don't allow us to use it. But looking at its general coverage for future tours, could be good. I think from that
perspective, like I said, three of the 6 new tracks is pretty decent.
Yeah. I mean, I like the look, like the coin aspect of it, but it's just so tough to get excited about things that are released and you don't get to use it in the tour, of which they have the most value. It's unfortunate. Shout out to Crazy, enjoyed 9 months here as on the Stud Fam. He's saving right now, but going for top 10 during the Halloween tour. So excited about hopefully having the spooky sprinkles surging at that point. Now, because on the reaction, I didn't get to go to the daily Spotlight shop mainly because I didn't have 2 monitors. We'll spend a little bit more time on it today. I think for many of those looking at it, some things might have popped in their Spotlight shop. Obviously, a lot of rubies immediately going to the new Coinbox driver, Gold Diggler, and but I think from other than that, I might have had to spend some me tax. I think those are the top priorities for anyone's rubies on a weekly basis. But Anytime you have some rubies, I think a lot of people go a couple different directions. One, they might get things that are new at a discount, or you can wait, see how the coverage shakes out, and then invest in it. So everything here that you see with the Stud Fit logo that's kind of ruby colored, these would be not to see it as you must get them, but more like a nudge to take a look to see if this makes sense for your account. Again, every account's a little different. Highly recommend looking at the trackers that are out there. Bam and Gerbs, yours Antilev is one I missed last tour. But ultimately, I think those are the top priorities for people to do if they want to take the meta pretty seriously. Otherwise, if you just kind of want like a finger in the air, what's generally pretty good and helps out a number of people. That's what the purpose of this slide is here. As for drivers, there's a few that I selected, but I'm usually pretty reserved when it comes to the drivers, just because I think in general you have so many options, and 150 rubies is tough to drop on getting a new driver. But ultimately, if you can just rely on the Miis, rely on other things that you already have invested in. I think from that perspective, there are a few exceptions. Obviously, Gold Charging Chuck is the number one driver to go into. There's no Astronaut Toad or some of the other really strong ones. I will say the Light Blue Shy Guy Explorer is doing really, really well, and if you don't have him, might be worth picking up in the Spotlight shop. It'll help you, especially in ranked this tour, as he's got this very unique exclusive, except for the Miis. And then you also have PD Piranha, which I like this tour. Just really any tour. I mean, boomboxing can be a little exhausting for many, but he's still relatively new and still has good coverage generally. Rosalina Chef is kind of where I draw the line. She and White Tanuki Mario pair really well with some of the meta drivers, but I think in general we just have so many. We went from not having any giant banana drivers to now being a little overwhelmed with potassium here lately. But those are some drivers I think might be worth looking into. I'm pretty excited about karts, but I think when it comes to the gliders, I mean, you could make an argument for almost every glider that's in the Spotlight shop right now. There's just so many good ones. It's just even though there's less gliders in your Spotlight shop, there's creme de la creme of the gliders. As for karts, just to kind of talk about the ones that stick out, I think from a lot of people's accounts over the last year, the Strawberry Soft Swerve's done really, really well for them. That's at a higher chance, along with the Rainbow Taxi, which has been in our top 10 here for the last few tours, both really, really strong. Moving down to the normal chances, Jukebox Buggy, Cupid's Arrow have been former top 10s, very dominant, really good coverage, pair well with things. Obviously, the Cupid's Arrow, much larger in hitbox than the Jukebox Buggy. Jukebox Buggy for some is like right there where they draw that line of minimum viable hitbox. Some even would prefer a much larger cart than the Jukebox Buggy, but from that perspective, still really strong for coverage, and it's actually kind of making a comeback this year. It's been getting some really good tracks as of late. Moving down that row, we have the Kemo Tanuki cart and the Moo Off-Roader and the Blooper Shuttle. I don't think any explanation needs to go behind these three phenomenal carts that are still surging. This is like the exact moment where you'd want to get something and take it up now that the value is established, and then still be able to ride a little bit of that wave out. We have the Rainbow Streetle, a much smaller cart. I think from a width, it's probably like right there at the minimum viable hitbox, but its length is just teeny tiny. And so from that perspective, a lot of people have been throwing it some shade. It does have really good coverage, and so from that perspective, like actually monster coverage. So worth looking into. But again, you might want to just drive one of the Streetles before you put tickets into it. The Red Comet, really, really strong. Silver Cupid's Arrow, both of those are doing really well. Still newer too, so both of those you could invest in, and I still think the peak is ahead of them. If you're interested in going that direction. Same thing with the Silver Warrior Wagon. It's been really, really strong. Whereas the blue Crawley Kart and Moo Off-Roader, a little older comparatively to those the last three I just mentioned. So from that perspective, if you kind of like riding the newer items, the Silver Cupid's Arrow, Silver Warrior Wagon, Red Comet, those are some of like the newer ones that are about to peak. Whereas right now, like Moonwalk Rotor, Blue Crawley Kart doing just really, really well. Bigger hitboxes as well, which I think, some of the biggest in the game, which I think a lot of players absolutely love. And then at the very lowest chances for carts, many of the gold carts are absolute hot garbage, but there are a few that are notable. Obviously, the gold Bullet Blaster and then the gold Bruiser, both pretty strong from coverage, both smaller though, and gold. So just take that with a grain of salt. Last but not least, gliders. Like I said, these are some really strong gliders. You could probably make an argument for any one of these. Worth getting for sure. Ice's Mario Mustache, still a top 25 glider, doing really, really well. Obviously, this is a big tour for it as well. And Yoshi Cookies has broken the top 15 finally, and so you get finally some cookie love. I know you've been shouting out the cookies for quite some time. I'm finally bought in. I believe it now. This tour has some really good coverage, both in ranked and also all cup ranking as well. 8-bit 1-up super. This is, really any of the 8-bit items are really, really strong. But 8-bit 1-up super, making a great comeback and absolutely really, really good for a lot of accounts. Record setter has been phenomenal. It's been just, it had a really good start, maybe a little too good, and then Nintendo kind of slowed its roll a little bit after it gave an extra level 8 unlock, which it's the only glider in the game, only item in the game with 2 level 8 unlocks. But it's been very consistent. It pairs really well with things. I know it's older, but I wouldn't hesitate to invest in it if you have to. Same thing with the Sakura Origami glider. It's kind of making a comeback, and it's really strong in the meta. Well after it's kind of hit that 0 tracks left to see point. We have the Green Cat Parafoil. Again, the downside to it is Green Shell Plus, but it's probably been arguably the best Green Shell Plus glider over the last year. Thinking, comparing it to maybe the Dry Bowser Umbrella.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of the coverage is just so strong. You have to be aware of the special skill. 8-bit 1-up mushroom. Enough said about this, guys. This is, I think when we look back at the end of the year, it's going to be the #1 glider in the game. I think the first out actually was first in was the Fuzzy Kite and the Smiley Flower. Both of those have been pretty strong, but they're just, they're still coming on. I think that we'll see what happens. Hope that they do continue doing well, but they're just kind of breaking the top 20, top 23, and doing pretty well. So included those both in kind of as if I had to make the cutoff a little below 14, which is where I set at this tour, then those would be probably the first out. Wonderful Diamond did take a little bit of a hit this tour, which is kind of surprising. A lot of it's got a lot of winter tracks or snow tracks. So it's kind of interesting to see this tour kind of get fall down a little bit in the top 10, which we'll cover here in a little bit. But really strong still. I invested in it just last tour and really happy about it. It's a great glider. But this 8-bit super is just absolutely bonkers. It's getting all the crazy buffs right now, even though it just looks very boring. Its coverage is phenomenal, and not too far. Kind of almost like a 8-bit super light is this 8-bit block glider. Both of them really, really strong. Both of them getting really good ranked usage as well as all cup ranking usage as well. Talked about the Smiley glider, and then Wonderful Wings. The one I will mention, kind of also in that first out, first in, is the Golden Glider. It's made quite a surge. It's actually jumped up, I think, 20 spots this tour. So I think now at number 14 on our top 10, which we'll get to here in a little bit. So, Antilev, what's your thoughts on the Spotlight Shop? Anything you'd add or remove?
Yeah, no real criticisms or omissions that I see here that are very flagrant. I would say I know there's a limit to what you can put in, but the red checkered and pink checkered are kind of up and coming. Those might be ones to keep an eye on. They're both jumped into the top 25 this tour. But other than that, I don't really have a lot of comments.
I actually looked at that. I looked at both of them.
Is the regular Streetle in the Spotlight Shop? Because that one got a couple of good buffs too.
No.
But I don't see it here. So.
Yeah, I looked at both the red and the pink. I think if there was one that was going up instead of two, I probably would have kind of had that instead of maybe maybe the flower glider, Smiley Flower, or maybe the fuzzy kites or something like that. But
it's hard. I just thought I'd drop that in there because they're both top 25, and they both got good buffs this tour.
No, it's good. It's good to just keep an eye on it. I do kind of wonder if it kind of follows the same trend that the pink Comet and red Comet, they both were kind of surging into, the top 20 around the same point in time. And then, the red one kind of decided to kind of take off and kind of leave the pink one behind. So I was a little hesitant and see, let's wait a tour. Let's see what happens. Maybe it's the pink that leaves the red behind. But either way, I think it's worth noting, and hopefully people can just keep a pulse on it. All right, let's get into the buffs. Certainly, there are a lot of buffs. We're talking 510 buffs in total, which is just insane. A lot of that's because of the older tracks that were brought back in, and basically, a lot of the tracks that had not been seen by these drivers. I think when it comes to the best tracks to get buffed on, you kind of alluded to that at the very beginning. We're talking about Luigi Circuit. Obviously, the Vanilla Lake 2s are great. But overall, I mean, what are the tracks? What do you think the top 5 buffs would be when it comes to just tracks in general?
Yeah, so what we want to be looking for here is first the new, as always, the new retros which are in rank. So we're talking RMX Vanilla Lake. So this is the tier, the absolute S tier is RMX Vanilla Lake 2 and RMX Vanilla Lake 2 RT. RMX Vanilla Lake 2 RT is worth a little bit more because RTs are worth a little bit more. I have a bigger chance to see them in a future ranked. RT is by far the most common type of track in rank. After that, we're looking at ranked tracks, which are more recent retros, so that's Luigi Circuit RT, and also the other new tracks which aren't in ranked for ACR. So that's the other two RMX Vanilla Lakes. That's RMX Vanilla Lake 1 RT and SNES Vanilla Lake 2 RT. So there's 6 new tracks. First the 2 ranked ones and the 4 non-ranked ones. And then kind of at the same level or a little bit lower is Luigi Circuit RT. And then after that, you're looking at the other Luigi Circuits, which aren't in ranked. And after that, it's all kind of a little bit all the same. Those older retros and Sky High Sundae kind of similar value to an older retro.
Yeah, no, that's extremely helpful. I like kind of breaking it down.
I can tell you the top 5 most valuable buffs. We said before, Wiggler Gold is the single most valuable buff on RMX Vanilla Lake 2 RT with that Coinbox exclusive. Yep. Then we got some Mii racing suits on RMX Vanilla Lake 2 RT. But significantly less worth than Vanilla Wiggler Gold. The Coinbox exclusive is worth a lot. Then RMX Vanilla Lake 2, I think it's another Coinbox exclusive. It gets a little bit of a discount for being a level 6 unlock. I think it's only worth 80% of what its normal value. And level 8 unlocks are 50%. But this is a level 6 unlock. 4th most valuable buffs is a whole bunch of karts that got RMX Vanilla Lake RT. And 5th most valuable buff is glider, getting a bunch of gliders who got buffed on RMX Vanilla Lake 2N. So you see the top 5 buffs are all RMX Vanilla Lake 2 or RT. After that, we got gliders on RMX Vanilla Lake 2 RT. The reason why that the gliders are more valuable on RMX Vanilla Lake 2 is because it's more paywalled, I would say. And then finally, after that, we got Wiggler Gold on Sky High Sundae 2. And those are the top 7 that I wanted to mention. Yeah.
No, extremely helpful. Yeah. We won't get into all the buffs because they're just based on the sheer
It's a crazy
volume.
amount of buffs.
Yeah.
Especially, you only see this volume of buffs usually in a city tour, but some of these retros we haven't seen in so long.
Yeah. It's interesting. I mean, even this Nitro, we haven't seen Sky High Sundae since last Sunday tour last year. So even basically any driver, any item that has come out since last year now gets the chance to get that track, just as an example. But there's a couple, obviously, older tracks being brought in that just kind of blow up all the buffs. So we do have one driver with 5 buffs. Obviously, Mario Black Suit, one of the drivers that a lot of us can safely skip. Ultimately, his 5 buffs, it's not going to really matter too much. But he does get the rank track remix Vanilla Lake 2. If someone wanted to invest in them, no hard feelings. But it's not going to help you score more than other players. So I think that's. I'm not trying to throw shade on them, but ultimately, guys, these are, don't get too excited about this. Don't say, oh yeah, I want 5 buffs. got to go into this guy. Unfortunately, that's just where we are with the meta. We do have a number of drivers with 4 buffs. The top 2 would be Toad Tourist and Wiggler. You kind of already alluded to as some of his good buffs he got. Overall, I mean, you're happy about the Remix Vanilla Lake 2 RT as the most notable, but the Luigi Circuit, a great one for him as well. Toad Tourist does get the Sky High Sundae, which is in ranked. It does get the Remix Vanilla Lake 2 T, which is not ranked, but a great track to have right off the bat. As for the other drivers with 4 buffs, we have Pauline Cowgirl, or Yaleen, and Donkey Kong Gladiator, aka Spartacong. Both of these two, and then 2 Mii suits. But I think most people are looking at Yaleen and Spartacong. Obviously, they're new plus skill drivers. Unfortunately, neither one is in ranked, which is pretty crazy. Spartacong obviously getting some DK tracks, which is awesome. He's got DK Pass R, and DK Summit.
Which fun to use him on those DK Pass tracks.
It is a lot of fun, and even the DK Summit. There's plenty of coins all over the track too. Great boomerang track in general. I'm just glad that they allowed him to get some DK tracks. Like, that's just good on Nintendo for giving him that. Whereas Yaleen, she's more of a Southern girl. She's more of a, Wild Wild West. And so it's interesting they gave her, these 4.
I mean, she probably doesn't really like the cold that much, looking at her outfit.
Probably not. She does get Luigi Circuit T, which is a great track for her. That's a huge track for having a boomerang. It's a shorter track. You want to boombox and get out of that track as soon as possible. That's huge for him. Anything you want to say about the drivers with 4 buffs and 5? Again, we're just highlighting some of the biggest and most notable. I'm not going to get into Blooper and Orange Mii, if that's okay, just for based on time.
No, that's absolutely fine. I made a record. So basically, made a record of all the. So first of all, no single item in the game got both of the new ranked RMX Vanilla Lake 2s.
Wow.
Okay, so there's not one returning item which got RMX Vanilla Lake 2 and RMX Vanilla Lake 2 RT. So the next thing what I did was look, hey, which items got 2 new tracks, and also included Luigi Circuit RT, because that is a tough track to cover and it isn't ranked. And we had, I think, 12 drivers that got at least 2 buffs. Orange Mii was one of them. So on a value chart, Orange Mii actually had the most value added of any driver this whole tour. Now I don't know if people want to invest in a driver with triple bananas. I'm just saying what the model tells me. And other than that, I think a lot of these are, I think, sort of quantity over quality. Not getting multiples of the new tracks, not getting an extra ranked one or something like that. So the model wasn't that impressed with Mario Black Suit or Toad Tourist. It did like Wiggler. Wiggler got the 4th most value added.
Nice.
And that makes sense. It got a new ranked track, RMX Vanilla Lake 2 RT, and it also got the new SNS Vanilla Lake 2 RT, and then Luigi Circuit N, which is also still a pretty valuable track. So 3 really solid buffs from Wiggler, so that's quantity and quality.
Yeah. Love it. That's awesome. As for drivers with 3 buffs, Larry Mii suit does get some nice tracks, not in ranked, but 2 remix Vanilla Lakes, 1 RT and 2 T. And then obviously the DK Pass T. So he's got some nice bonus tracks. But again, if you're looking for it to use them in ranked, that's kind of how Mii's are. They're just not used in ranked much, but for All Cup ranking, they're absolute must gets. For Light Blue Shy Guy Explorer, he's got probably one of the best buffs of the tour with that Vanilla Lake 2. It's a ranked track and it's really hard to cover, especially if you're not going into any Mii's or anything. Kind of skim through some of the rest. I will say Wiggler Mii did get Luigi Circuit and the Vanilla Lake 2 RT, which is a nice win for him, even though they're not in ranked. And then moving into a little lower down into the list, a couple other Mii's, a couple other supers, and then we'll move into drivers with 2 buffs. We got Toad Astronaut or Spode. He did get the Vanilla Lake 2 RT. It's not ranked, but it's a good track for him. Poochie got the Vanilla Lake 1 RT, which is but nothing in ranked. This might be This might be one of the worst tours for Pucci. He did move up a little bit. Actually, no, I think he went down a little bit.
Snuck back into the top 10 there, yeah.
He's in the top 10, but these are two tracks that you don't necessarily need for Pucci.
The RMX Vanilla Lake 1RT is a new track, so the model is valuable, but I'm not really sure how Lucky 7 is going to be on this,
Yeah.
I haven't played it yet, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's it's not like super long. So I think those are the tracks where you kind of like Lucky 7 because you can kind of stall a little bit longer, maybe get a double Lucky 7 frenzy. I will say Santa Me gets this great track, this remix, Vanilla Lake 2, and I am absolutely loving that with Lucky 7. I know I talked with Jeeves a little earlier today. He was not a big fan of it. He moved from Lucky 7 to Giant Banana, but I absolutely love it. I think there's a lot of opportunity to stall and hit other items. I absolutely. There are some tracks where it's not very wide at certain sections. And it's really hard to be able to kind of manipulate what place you're going through the item box in. But I think this track is one of my favorite Lucky 7 tracks I've played on a while. It's I got like a Lucky 7, then a double Lucky 7, and got like 178 action. So I think 180 action is probably like the limit. Unfortunately, that run I got second place, which sucks. But I think there's a lot of opportunity to be able to stall, which I absolutely love. And I prefer Santa over Giant Banana on this Vanilla Lake 2. We have the Prom Plant Me suit, which has been doing pretty well in the meta, although not having a great skill. So it's hard to get too excited about it, but it did get 2 older tracks. So I think went down maybe one spot in the algorithm, and then a couple other Miis that you may or may not have invested into. Poke Me was one that some people liked, and the Goomba did get the Vanilla Lake 2 RT, and he was doing pretty strong in the meta. He's at number 21 on our top 10. As for the other drivers with 2 buffs, just again kind of skimming through it, the Blue did get the Vanilla Lake 2 RT. Luigi Chef did get Vanilla Lake 2. That's a tougher track to get, and these Luigis are just having a great year in general. Iggy Misu got the Sky Sundae R, and then a couple supers. I will say, when it comes to all these supers, none of them are ranked, so they can't really kind of leverage that aspect of it. But they're there, and I think for future tours they might be helpful. And then drivers with 1 buff, the most notable is Gold Charging Chuck. He got the Vanilla Lake 2T. It's not ranked, but it's a great track to get. Yellow Me Suit did get the Sky High Sunday track, which is really good for him. It's a decent Giant Banana track too. I think it's between he and the Silver Me Suit, which is having a really good tour for All Cup ranking as well. I think both. I think actually the Silver could get higher action count, but I absolutely love. I think Sky High Sunday is one of the better Giant Banana tracks in general. Roaring Racing Suit got the Sky High Sunday R, as well as also the Green Me Racing Suit. Morton got the Vanilla Lake 2. We kind of talked briefly about that. Penguin Toadette got the Vanilla Lake 2 as well.
Yeah.
Anything you want to mention about the rest of the drivers?
So like I said, I made a list of the drivers that got 2 valuable buffs, so maybe I'll just go through a couple of the, Larry Me Racing Suit and Santa Me Racing Suit both got 2. Larry Me got RMX Vanilla Lake 1RT, RMX Vanilla Lake 2T. Santa Me Racing Suit got RMX Vanilla Lake 2, RMX Vanilla Lake 1RT. Light Blue Sugar Explorer, RMX Vanilla Lake 2 and Vanilla Lake 2 RT, the SNES one. Blue Me Racing Suit, Daisy Me Racing Suit, Fishbone Me Racing Suit, got 1 new track, and also Luigi Circuit RT. Other than that, a White Shy Guy as a super got 2 new valuable tracks. He got Vanilla Lake 2 RT, the SNES version, and RMX Vanilla Lake 2 R. Neither ranked, but still, for a super, that's really good. There's a couple others, but I don't think we know Wiggler got 2. I think I already mentioned him. So yeah, nothing really else to mention. Value wise, I didn't mention Wiggler Me Racing Suit and Larry Me Racing Suit. Second and third most value out of this tour. So if you were thinking about taking those guys up and you haven't yet, now's a good time for it.
Yeah. Larry's a lot of fun to use personally. Let's move to karts. We got Spicy Zucchini. Got 5 buffs, which is phenomenal. for just sheer quantity. The downside, though, is nothing's in ranked. It did get some Luigi circuits, though, which are some great tracks to get, some newer tracks, and then 2 Rosalinas and a DK pass. So overall, I think the Spicy Zucchini had a decent tour, but a little lackluster. And, unfortunately, he's just not getting a great start to him. Getting the quantity, not the quality, which is the case for last tour as well. Let's talk about karts with 4 buffs. Starting with the Red Comet, did get the Rosalie Ice World R, an older track, but it's in ranked, so you're happy to have that there. It's number 7 on our list, as you can tell. Some other good ones like Remix Vanilla Lake 2T, which is obviously not ranked, but tougher track to cover in general, especially for All Cup ranking. You got the Boo Pipes, they get the Luigi Circuit RT. This track specifically, one of the harder tracks for karts. It gets a really, really good buff there. The rest of it's okay. The Remix Vanilla Lake 2T, as we kind of talked about, a good track to get as well as a bonus. I'll kind of skip through the rest. Fishbone Fairy, Wiggler Egg, Blue Sub Scooter, Dolphin Drifter, Yellow Sub Scooter, and then Goldfish Bone Fairy. I think overall you're happy about some of these Vanilla Lake 2 RT for the Blue Sub Scooter. The Dolphin Drifter got the Vanilla Lake 2, which is a tough one to cover. Yellow Sub Scooter got the Sky High Sundae. I would say this Dolphin Drifter, one of the tougher tracks to cover. Unless you had Blue Crawley, you're probably struggling there, and might be worth investing in him. Again, he's only number 91 on our list, but he's still pretty new in the game. And then there are 2 other karts with 4 buffs. That is Purple Rattle Buggy and Gold Wild Slugger. So I'll turn things over to you, Antilev. What's your thoughts on the karts with the most buffs?
The Fishbone Fairy actually is pretty good. But if you look at the most value that you added, I'm looking at the top 10. There is not that much at the top end. If you're looking at the top, the stuff that got mega buffs this tour are not meta items. I'm looking at the Ice Dozer up there, the Spicy Zucchini, the Fishbone Fairy, the Blue Sub Scooter. So some newer items, but not stuff that people have been jumping on. The Dolphin Drifter got some pretty good tracks. I like that one. The Spicy Zucchini, 5 tracks. Two of the Luigi circuits, which is fine, but no new tracks, which is, again, quantity over quality. Other than that, no, I don't really see anything else here that I'm really feel worth mentioning.
All right, fair enough. Let's move to karts with 3 buffs. The Moomoo Off-Roader got the Sky High Sundae R, which is an awesome ranked track, and then got the Vanilla Lake 2T as a bonus. Silver Cupid Zero, nothing in ranked, but did get the Remix Vanilla Lake 2T. The Swift Talon moved up a little bit in the algorithm, now number 13 on our list. That had to do with 2 Vanilla Lake one Remix Vanilla Lake 2T, but got to the Remix Vanilla Lake RT, one RT.
I think it's the only kart that got 3 new tracks as buffs, so that's why it jumped so much.
So that's right, because the Vanilla Lake 2RT is a new track. I forgot about that. So that's went up a big good number of jumps in our top 10. We have the Gold Cupid Zero, did get a couple new tracks as well, but nothing in ranked. Gold Shield Speedster, nothing in ranked there, but did get that, which is kind of a popular one now, that Vanilla Lake 2T. We have Bright Girl, Gold Comet, Gold Warrior Wagon. To go to the rest of the karts with 3 buffs, you get the Wild Gold, Gold Sushi Racer, Gold Pipes, Chain Chomp Chariot, Desert Rose Wagon, Yeehaw Wagon, Yellow Turbo Yoshi, Green Turbo Yoshi. I think some of those that stick out. I think you're happy to see the Gold Pipes get the Rosalina Ice World R for ranked purposes, but did get 2, one newer track and one still decent track to get. So that one's kind of starting to make a little bit of an upward swing. I will say the Chain Chomp Chariot, we were kind of curious to see how this would turn out. I haven't been super impressed with its buffing cycle quite yet. Yeehaw Wagon, I know it's still pretty early, but kind of like this Sky High Sundae R ranked track for it. Some people have thought about investing in it just because it's a little newer than some of the other ones on that track. But what's your thoughts on the karts with 3 buffs?
Yeah, like I said, I was making a list here. There's some a little bit more interesting things here, but still nothing where I'm like, okay. Silver Cube Zero is one that I was quite interested in. Two new buffs and one older buff. That one got some good value. I think, unfortunately, nothing in rank, so it didn't get like a huge amount of value. The Moo Off-Roader, yeah, I got one new track and it got a rank track too, so it's pretty good. I mean, like when you're already on top. But again, the story of this tour for the cards at least is that the items that got the most value added are not already meta items. This is the opposite of a rich nature.
Yeah, but at the same point in time, these older tracks have already had pretty good buffs. Like we've already anticipated, we've already kind of built around them. I'm using things like the Galaxy Glider and Black Star Shoot, and like these are. I'm sorry, black.
Silver Star Shoot.
Silver Star Shoot, yeah. I mean, we're using some of these gliders that we've already kind of leveraged the meta back when we were playing the game. So I think for newer players, yeah, it's tough to like go back and invest in these old items. But for some of these players who've been playing for a long period of time, we're not struggling on those tracks anyway. For what it's worth. Let's move into cards with two buffs. We'll first start with Blooper Shuttle getting the Vanilla Lake 2 RT. And then on top of that, getting the new Remix Vanilla Lake 1 RT. Really good. Huge winner there. Very efficient. Got the two buffs. Both of them you both wanted when you think about them being assumed and new going forward. Rainbow Streeto did get the Vanilla Lake 2 RT. And this guy has Sundae T. Pink Speeder. Fortunately, nothing in ranked, but did get two Vanilla Lake Remix Vanilla Lake 2s, which are very, very good buffs. I mean, this is where the rich are getting richer. They're getting two buffs and they're getting just bonkers buffs, and that's just how it works. Yeah. Rainbow Taxi, same thing. It's got the Sky High Sundae, a little tougher track to cover for some, and then on top of it, getting the Vanilla Lake 2 RT, just SNES. So very efficient. All four of those really, really solid tours for it. Moving forward to the Sakura Sports Coupe, they get the Vanilla Lake 2T, which is not in ranked, but a good track to have going forward. Tycho Drum Dasher does not get any new tracks. So that's probably a tougher track. I mean, that's why it fell out in the top 10. It's number 11 on our list right now. Rainbow Pipe Buggy, kind of same thing. It did get the Remix Vanilla Lake 2R, but we just had some carts that just got better buffs. And so, you're not happy necessarily about the DK Summit T. There's plenty of carts there already. Silver Warrior Wagon did get the rank track Vanilla Lake 2. It did also get the brand new Vanilla Lake 1 RT, the remix. Jumbo Jetter did get the Vanilla Lake 2T. Happy about that. Black Jingle Bell did get two newer tracks, the Remix Vanilla Lake 1 RT and the Remix Vanilla Lake 2R. Gold Bruiser, unfortunately, got the Frappe Snowland RT. I don't think many are struggling on that track, but did get the Remix Vanilla Lake 2R. Streetle did get two new tracks, the Remix Vanilla Lake 1 RT and the SNES Vanilla Lake 2 RT. That's probably where I'll kind of start to kind of cherry pick some of these. I will say Black Shell Speedster, not a good tour for it. I got the Frappe Snowland and DK Summit RT. We were curious to see at least I was curious to see how that would do this tour. What's your thoughts on the carts with two buffs?
Yeah, I don't think I really have a whole lot to add here. The Blooper Shuttle is already number one, and we got like two really good buffs. So that's, yeah, I don't know what to say. Looking at the other stuff, like the Pink Speeder is a really good one. That one got two really good buffs. And the Silver Warrior Wagon, we talk about that one. Yeah, Silver Warrior Wagon got two excellent buffs. A Black Jingle Bell, I don't know if you mentioned that one or not. Also two high quality buffs. And the Boo Pipes, are the Boo Pipes on here? Or did we discuss that?
It was no, we talked about it, but
that was in the first place. They had four buffs. Okay, so never mind. Yeah, no, I think that's all I had. The regular Streetle, but I guess the buffs that the regular Streetle got are not in rank, so that's why it's not on the spotlight shop. But also two very high quality buffs.
Yeah, two high quality buffs.
That's a richer one for sure.
Yeah. Good. I mean, I feel like those are when you talk about the winners of this tour, there are a number of the karts with 2 buffs that got 2 great buffs, as compared to some of the karts that got like 4 or 5 buffs, and maybe one of them are good. I don't know. I think you would rather be on the former side of that. For karts with 1 buff, Blazing Eagle, you get the Sky High Sundae RT. Blue Crawley kart got a very efficient Vanilla Lake 2 ranked track, and that's a really, really hard track to cover. A lot of smaller karts on that track specifically. This is one of the largest, if not the largest. Gold Lunar Cruiser, not a great buff for it. Camo Tanuki kart to get the Remix Vanilla Lake 1 RT, a new track. The Pink Comet got the Remix Vanilla Lake 2R, which is a good track to get. Goo Black to get the ranked track, the Vanilla Lake 2. Ice Cream Minibus got the Vanilla Lake 2 RT. And Dry Bone Stasher got the same track as well. Hot Rod, number 78 on our list, got the Vanilla Lake 2. Some people have looked into that for ranked, but again, it's just so hard to get excited about any of those carts. They're just a little smaller. That's why Blue Crawley is such a big buff for it. But that's kind of where we draw the line. I think ultimately you're not too concerned about these Streetles for ranked, but I'm happy to see some of these getting this the Remix Vanilla Lake 2R, like the Mach 8. That many of us had from a long time ago. Nice to see those retro buffs.
Handy. I mean, a lot of people have that at like level 7, level 8 already.
Yep. All right, what's your thoughts on the karts with 1 buff?
Nothing really. I mean, it's cool that Blazing Eagle is still getting buffs, but it's not, Blue Crawley kart is just absolutely insane. It doesn't quite fit into my inventory well, but I've been looking at other people's inventories, and it has some crazy value added for some people, even at just like level 4. So that's definitely one you should check and see if it makes sense for your inventory.
Yeah, I was. I think a lot in the community jumped on it really, really early, and then it had kind of a slower start after its first initial introduction, and then it's been just coming on just really, really strong lately. I personally took it to level 7, double uncapped myself. And it was just a lot of fun to use. So there was no other options on this track. I think maybe the Silver Warrior Wagon and maybe one other that I was contemplating, maybe the Dolphin Drifter, and that's about like everything else. It just seemed like not even an option when it came to the size of the hitbox and coverage. So definitely highly recommend Blue Crawley kart if you have to for ranked. That's how a lot of people might be on the fence about investing in it. I think it's well worth it. As for gliders, we got 1 glider with 5 buffs. That's the Luigi Golf Cap to get the Luigi Circuit RT, which is in ranked.
No, you didn't move the slide.
It didn't move?
No, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong.
Okay.
Don't pay attention. Just
all right. Luigi, no worries. Luigi, again, this would be part for the course for today. Luigi Golf Cap to get the Luigi Circuit RT and also Luigi Circuit R. Really happy when Nintendo does that. And then as an extra bonus, to get the SNES Vanilla Lake 2 RT. Really happy with those buffs. Overall, pretty decent torque for Luigi Golf Cap. DK Pass, Front Base Snowland T, not too worried about those. Those are kind of throwaways. Then for gliders with 4 buffs, there's a lot of them, but the most notable is the 8-bit Super Glider. Obviously, it's doing really, really well in the meta, and then on top of that, you got Sky High Sundae, a tougher track to cover for many players. It's in ranked, and it's doing pretty well. I would say, though, outside of that, it only got really one great track, and that's the Remix Vanilla Lake 2T. Everything else you probably could pass on. Let's move into the rest of the gliders with 4 buffs. We've got Gold 8-bit glider. Great tour for it with Vanilla Lake 2. I would say the other 3 tracks are not newer tracks, so take it for what it's worth. The Golden Glider. This is one that made one of the biggest jumps in the algorithm. Vanilla Lake 1 RT, Vanilla Lake 2, the remix, and SNES Vanilla Lake 2 RT. All 3 of those tracks phenomenal. This is one that's it's a late bloomer. This was not doing well to begin with, and here it is coming on as of late. Really, really happy with those 3 tracks if you were keeping an eye on it. Moving forward, the Red Emblem to get the Rosalinas Ice World R. It's an older track, but it's in ranked. The other tracks, they're passable. To get the Vanilla Lake 2 RT, the SNES one, that is a good track to have. Probably the best buff for it. Glittering Glider did get the Rosalina Ice World R. Same thing we kind of talked about there. Did get the remix Vanilla Lake 2T. Very happy with that last buff. Your Mosaic Starshoot did get the Vanilla Lake 2 RT, the remix there. And then got a couple other nice buffs there. That's actually a pretty good tour for the Mosaic Starshoot. Got the remix Vanilla Lake 1 RT and the Vanilla Lake 2T, the remix. So happy about that. As compared to the Mario Bros. Parafoil, did get the Luigi Circuit T and the remix Vanilla Lake 2T. So happy about those two buffs. At least out of the four, at least you got 50-50 there. Wiggler Parachute did get Vanilla Lake 2T, the Sky High Sundae, and those are really the two most notable buffs, one in ranked and one just a good one going forward. Rainbow Flappy Wings, we're considering this a really good buff for the Sky High Sundae R. It's a tough track to cover for ranked, but that's the only new track that it got to get the Luigi Circuit T, which is a tough track to cover. In fact, I think this tour, the Luigi circuits are one of some of the hardest tracks to cover for All Cup ranking.
Absolutely.
There's some really tough tracks to cover in general. Yeah. Wave of Great Sale. Some people invested in this really early. Unfortunately, not the best tour. Did get two Vanilla Lake new ones: Vanilla Lake 1 RT and the remix Vanilla Lake 2T. Jelly Shoot did get the ranked Vanilla Lake 2 RT. Really happy about that. To get the Vanilla Lake 2 RT, the SNES, and that's a good buff. That's about it there for it. And then a couple remaining. Pink Bubble Balloon, not a great tour. It kind of had a tough start to begin with. This tour, a little bit better, but not great either. It got the Rosalina Ice World R, an older track, but in ranked, and then got the Vanilla Lake 2T. Dolphin Great Sale did get the ranked Sky High Sundae R, and then as a consolation to get the Vanilla Lake 2R and the Vanilla Lake 1 RT. So decent showing there, probably a B minus there, maybe B plus for Dolphin Great Sale. Gold Mario Golf Cap, nothing in ranked, and most of the tracks are pretty old. Did get the remix Vanilla Lake 2R, which is great, and then the Vanilla Lake 2. Mario Golf Cap. So again, some of these buffs with four, getting pretty good ones. It's at least getting at least two good ones almost across the board. And then gliders with, maybe we'll stop there. Gliders with 4 buffs, Antilev. What's your thoughts on those?
Yeah, so I mean, just looking at the value, like sometimes the ones that get 4 or 5 buffs are kind of, quantity over quality, but looking at the value added, Luigi Golf Cap got by far the most value added. One new track and also 2 of those Luigi circuits. They're still quite valuable in terms of the model. I think Mosaic Starshoot is on the list here.
It was right here.
Yeah. And we got
halfway down. Number 6.
Yeah, Mosaic Starshoot, the second most value added. So we really see that. And a gold Mario Golf Cap is up there. Dolphin Great Sale is up there. Jelly Shoot is up there. So really, some of these ones up here have gotten. Golden Glider is number 8 on the list of most value added. Quantity and quality for some of these. Obviously there's some duds here, like the Wavy Great Sale a little bit. That one is even not so bad. But
it seems like almost all of them are getting at least 2 good tracks.
Yeah, exactly. So pretty nice to see that if you're interested in any of these newer items, that they're getting a strong buff, round of buffs.
For sure. Moving to gliders with 3 buffs. You have the Yellow Hard Hat Balloon. It's been having a great year this year. Did get the remix Vanilla Lake 2T. Nabbit Parachute, really strong tour as well. It has the remix Vanilla Lake 1 RT, moved up a little bit in the algorithm. Unfortunately, the other 2 tracks are not the best in the world. Golden Hard Hat does have the remix Vanilla Lake 2 RT, which is a tough track to cover. For ranked, that's a really good, helpful track to have for week 2. And week 2 is a little, again, that's kind of been the par for the course. Week 2 just a little harder every single tour, it seems, than week 1 comparatively. It does also get the Vanilla Lake 2 RT, the SNES version, which I'm happy about. 8-Bit Block Glider does have the Vanilla Lake 2 RT. brand new ranked track, but that's really the only track that that gets us that's positive in that respect. Yoshi's Cookies, they get the ranked Sky High Sundae, which makes a lot of sense. Kind of a yummy track in general, and then it did get as a bonus the remix Vanilla Lake 2T. The Gold Blue Masks, it's not in ranked, but really happy with the 2R and the 2RT, which are two newer tracks. It's overall, it's been doing pretty well in the meta, but again, not in ranked for those who wanted it to be. The Red Checkered Glider, we kind of talked about this having a pretty good tour, has the remix Vanilla Lake 2RT, and did get well, I guess that's the only track that helped it out this tour. The Pink Checkered did have a little bit more usefulness this tour with the Sky High Sundae, which is in ranked, but neither one of those got two new tracks, which you're kind of hoping with when you get 3 buffs. As for the rest of the gliders, kind of in the top 75 or so that got 3 buffs. Got Bright Ribbon, did get the Sky High Sundae R. Gold Manta Glider, not in ranked, but did get the SNES Vanilla Lake 1RT. Flying Flappers. Actually, I think this is a pretty good tour for the Flying Flappers. Got all 3 new tracks. Got the remix Vanilla Lake 1RT, the remix Vanilla Lake 2RT, which is in ranked, and the SNES Vanilla Lake 2RT. So all 3 new tracks. Absolutely love that for Flying Flappers. In ranked once as well. And I probably won't even talk about the Royal A Paper. That's a rough one, man. 3 old tracks. So what's your thoughts on the gliders with 3 buffs?
Yeah, there's 3 gliders this tour that got buffed on 3 new tracks. And one of them was Flying Flappers. The other 2 are the Golden Glider and Mosaic Starship, which I think we already mentioned. So the Flying Flappers is a bit of an older one now. I think it was initially a commemorative, and it never really kind of had so maybe it's going to be a late bloomer. I don't know, but that's a really strong round of buffs for the Flying Flappers.
And it's commemorative again this tour, which is kind of interesting.
Other than that, I'm not really seeing a whole lot here. These are getting more into the quantity over quality, kind of as what you were saying. The Gold Boom Masks did pretty good. There's two new tracks, and the Gold Hard Hat Balloon also. So some of the gold items got some love this tour. Gold Boom Mask, Gold Hard Hat Balloon, Gold Manta Glider, and Golden Glider all got 2 new tracks. So that's kind of a surprise to see those golden items getting a lot of love.
For sure. By the way, shout out to Domo. He said 60 active users, 26 likes. Let's give some thumbs up for some of our favorite creators. I think he's talking about you, Antilev. But yeah, so if you don't mind, leave a like on the video, and also leaving a comment or anything else will help people see that this video is live and premiering, and help join in the fun. But thank you, Domo. Appreciate that. Let's move to gliders with 2 buffs. We have wonderful Garnet. Did get two newer tracks, but not in ranked. Very happy about the number 2 glider in the game. The 8-Bit Goomba did get 2 new tracks. Happy about that. The Vanilla Lake 1RT and the Vanilla Lake 2T, the remix. Calico Toby Balloons did get the remix Vanilla Lake 2R. Very happy about that. And then Smiley Flower Glider got 2 older tracks, but it is in ranked for the Rosalina Ice World R. I don't think you're necessarily struggling to cover that track, though, for that Smiley Flower Glider. The rest of the gliders are less eventful than the wonderful Garnet, 8-Bit Goomba, and Calico Toby Balloons, which are having quite a time. And then... yeah, really, that's kind of all I'll say about the gliders with 2 buffs. Moving to gliders with 1 buff, and then I'll get your opinion. Then we'll move into the top 10. Gliders with 1 buff, Black Starshoot. Obviously, one of the better better gliders in the game. Unfortunately, this is not a great buff for it. The Festive Holly got the Vanilla Lake 2. A lot of people have been, kind of expected it to have a pretty good tour. It's obviously very festive-y and kind of... could potentially get winter tracks. Very efficient here. Got the Vanilla Lake 2. I think some were hoping that it would be in the Spotlight Shop to get it, and unfortunately it's not. So I think from that respect, if you have it, you can be investing in it. It's been kind of a late bloomer. Didn't start off great, but doing pretty well this summer, which is kind of ironic. Green Cap Airfoil did get the Vanilla Lake 1RT, which is a newer track. I'll skip over the autumn leaves because that's not a great buff necessarily. Icy Mario's Mustache got the Vanilla Lake 2. It's in ranked, a tougher track to cover for sure. A lot of people are struggling with it. That's a great buff for the Icy Mario Mustache. Number 19 on our list, which is kind of sneaky. Fuzzy Kite did get the Vanilla Lake 2T, not in ranked, but a new track that's for those Fuzzy Kite fans. 8-Bit Super Mushroom got the Vanilla Lake 2. This is, again, probably the best option for a lot of people. If you've invested in the 8-Bit items, it's in ranked as well. So there you go. That's probably where I'll draw the line. Antilev, what's your thoughts on the gliders with 2 and 1 buff?
Yeah, so I mean, like with 1 buff, it's like, do they get a new rank track or something, or a rank track where you don't have coverage otherwise? But other than that, I mean, let's see, Wavy Great Sail, White Waves, Silver Candlelight Flight, those all got, I think, 2 buffs, but 2 new track buffs, 8-Bit Goomba as well. Other than that, not a whole lot to say. I mean, there are a lot of buffs this tour. 518, 510 most, something like that, what you said. It's crazy, so we don't need to spend a lot more time on it. And a lot of those buffs are from older So the Black Star Shoot came out in the Bowser Tour, which was last September. It was like a year old already. And I still hadn't seen Frappe Snowland RT. That's crazy, right?
It was one of the last... Yeah, it was... Here's the thing is that on the last couple, probably the last 6 months, that's when we started saying, hey, there's one last track left to see. And literally, I think there were like 100 items or so that had one last track left to see. Yeah. And that was Frappe Snowland RT. Yeah. We hadn't seen it in quite some time. So, yeah, you'll see a couple items get that track. Good. All right, let's move to the top 10. No major changes with the algorithm. Feel free to review this, but ultimately it is predictive in nature. Certainly you can see what's doing well right now, but you kind of want to make an early, and so it's kind of built in some of what we've learned over the last few years as to what trends Nintendo has done, building in some of the paywalled items or items that have coverage that doesn't have a lot of overlap with other meta items. If it's got a kind of a very condensed top shelf, a lot of other things that are built into this algorithm to help you make a decision just slightly ahead of. Again, you kind of you don't want to invest in something that's kind of dying out, but I think ultimately your goal is really kind of run that surge and kind of ride that wave while you can. So let's get into the top 10 drivers in the game. We'll start with Poochie at number 10. Now for newer viewers, thank you for joining. I'll kind of walk through what each one of these slides look like and just take a little bit more time for this one slide. So as you can see in the top left, Poochie is number 10 on our list. It is up 2 spots, meaning it was number 12 last tour, and doing better in the algorithm than it was last tour, respectively. And it has 37 assumed tracks. These are tracks that will be reoccurring every single tour, or could be returning in any specific tour, and probably the most valuable tracks in the game. City tracks and nitro tracks, they may not return. We don't know when they could. There certainly has been some changes in that over the last couple tours, as we've seen cities and nitros be brought back. I mean, we're thinking about Piranha Plants Cove. They've been a number of times this year. However, on the other side of it, we have Sky High Sundae that literally has not come out since this same time last year, or Married Mountain that is just going to come back in the holidays. So we certainly treat those different than some of these vanilla lakes that we probably will see a lot throughout the next year or two. And then you have 7 cities. These are kept separate on purpose so that you can see that Poochie has these city tracks which return less higher likelihood. And then there are 60 tracks left to see, meaning that every time a driver sees a track for the very first time, the way that they either get that track or they don't. That's kind of been the trend that Nintendo has been giving us. And so if you're looking at Poochie and another item, you might want to look to see how many tracks it has left to see as kind of a tiebreaker. Poochie, obviously a newer item, so it has 60 tracks left to see, which after this tour is actually a pretty high number comparatively. We've seen a lot of older tracks reintroduced that help kind of bring that number down. Moving to the right side of the screen there, underneath all of that information, you can see all of his tracks. Shout out to Larry98. And you can also see what are the drivers with top skills cover those tracks. Really, really helpful. All these slides will be on Reddit, hopefully by the end of the day, so you can take a longer look and kind of zoom in on these. It's probably hard to watch on YouTube, but the goal is that you can kind of see, some of the tracks that have only one driver. This is what you want. You want these either exclusive or, and so he does have an exclusive top skill there with Cheap Lagoon. Or you want to be able to see if he has kind of a smaller set of options there, like for instance the Yoshi's Valley RT. He just got Toad Astronaut, or for that respect, Donut Plains, the SNES Donut Plains 2R, which just has Daisy Tidress. So that kind of gives you a high level overview on his tracks and gives you some more detail. Again, as always, you might want to look at the trackers, but this gives you as much of that information that's on a tracker without actually pulling up the tracker. Basically doing as much work for you as possible without forcing you to pull one of those up. As for top skill pairing, what this means is you add Poochie into a Turtle Dude's coverage optimizer. You can just Google coverage optimizer and you should be able to find it pretty easily. But you can plug in Poochie and say, I want to see what Poochie plus 3 drivers, out of the 332 assumed tracks, what 4 drivers would cover the most number of those tracks if Poochie is one of them. So in this pairing, Poochie alongside White Tanuki Mario, Daisy Tidress, and Gold Charging Chuck cover 121 of the 332 tracks, which is basically over a third of the tracks just by 4 drivers, which is great. So these pairing, these 3 drivers adds 91 tracks to Poochie's 37 assumed and 7 cities, which is really, really good. Then last but not least, sometimes you don't want to invest in a driver or item that you've already invested in other items that have a lot of overlap with him. So we want to point these out. He does have the light blue Shy Guy Explorer, which is another Lucky 7 driver. He covers and overlaps 7 of Poochie's tracks, which is a decent amount. Both of the same skill though, so you might just want to pick one of these drivers and just ride that out. Whereas Toad Astronaut has overlaps 6 times with Poochie, and Morton Meesuit and Yellow Meesuit cover and overlap 5 of Poochie's tracks, which if you're investing in the Miis, Poochie may not be as important to you, or maybe you don't like investing in Giant Banana. So in that case, Poochie might be really valuable to you. So that's, again, a little bit more detail for number 10. We'll move much quicker as we go through the top 10. But at number 9, Yellow Mii Racing Suit, 23 assumed tracks, 15 cities. He's seen every track in the game. His pairing covers 113 of the 332 tracks. Starting to see Wintertime Larry in these pairings, which is nice. He does overlap 4 times, though, with Daisy Tidress, Toad Astronaut, and Spartacong, and overlaps 5 times with Poochie. At number 8, we have Toad Astronaut, 38 assumed tracks, 12 cities, 4 tracks left to see. His pairing covers 124 of the 332 tracks. He overlaps 6 times with Poochie, Wiggler, and Light Blue Shy Guy, 5 times with Toad Tourist, and 4 times with Morton Meesuit and Question Block Meesuit. At number 7, we have Larry Wintertime, 40 assumed tracks, 14 cities, 4 tracks left to see. This pairing covers 123 of the 332 tracks. He overlaps 7 times with PD Piranha and Chef Rosalina, 6 times with Daisy Tidress, and 5 times with Santa Me and PD Piranha Gold, which has a larger hitbox, and that is worth noting. At number 6, we have Daisy Tidress. She's down 2 spots. 38 assumed tracks, 19 cities, seen every track in the game. Her pairing covers 125 of the 332 tracks, which is one of the highest, which is great. It does overlap, though, 8 times with Gold Meesuit. So if you haven't heard it yet, think of Daisy Tidress as almost kind of like a Gold Meesuit light. If you haven't gotten to tier 80, she might be really, really helpful for you. It does overlap 7 times with Yoshi Kangaroo and 6 times with Larry Wintertime and Light Blue Shy Guy Explorer. At number 5, my apologies, Question Block Mii Racing Suit down 2 spots, 29 assumed tracks, 9 cities, 0 tracks left to see. This pairing covers 117 of the 332 tracks. He does overlap 6 times with some non-Mii suits, so I'm not too alarmed about that. I mean, really, a lot of what brings a lot of value for him is the fact that he just has some really, really good exclusives. He overlaps 6 times with Mario Saddle of You and PD Piranha and Light Blue Shy Guy Explorer, and 4 times with Daisy Tie Dress and Larry Wintertime. At number 4, we have Gold PD Piranha. He's up 1 spot. He's doing pretty well this summer. He certainly had a rough time there for a while, but he's coming on as of late, and he's finally in ranked. Congratulations, PD Piranha Gold. You've graduated to the adult league. He's got 37 assumed tracks, 16 cities. He's got this pairing covers 123 of the 332 tracks. It does overlap 7 times with Shy Guy, Pink Shy Guy Ninja, 6 times with PD Piranha, and 5 times with Larry Wintertime. At number 3, Larry Me Racing Suit. 26 assumed tracks, 6 cities. Still has a whopping 84 tracks left to see, which is really, really great. He's still really new. If you're looking at the screen on of all of his tracks if you look on the left side, these tracks, not a lot of plus skill drivers. He's kind of sneaky in that respect. Some of his pairing covers 115 of the 332 tracks. Does overlap 5 times with Luigi Knight and PD Piranha, 4 times with Toad Tourist, Light Blue Shy Guy, Explorer, and King Mario. At number 2, we have Charging Chuck Gold. His overlap, he has 41 assumed tracks, 14 cities. His pairing cover 125 of the 332 tracks. Does overlap 6 times with Gold Yoshi Gold Something, Luigi Knight, Gold, and regular Charging Chuck, which makes sense. 5 times with Santa Me Racing Suit and Shy Guy Explorer, Light Blue Shy Guy Explorer. 4 times with Poochie and Toad Tourist and Larry Wintertime. And then finally, last but not least, Gold Me Racing Suit. 37 assumed tracks, 15 cities. Number 1 driver in the game, hands down. His pairings, he actually got some unique pairings now. He's got Toad Tourist, PD Piranha, and Gold Charging Chuck as one option, which is kind of interesting to see PD Piranha on there. That covers 121 of the 332 tracks, which is great for a Me suit. He does overlap, as we talked about earlier, 8 times with Daisy Tie Dress, and 7 times with Gold Yoshi Gold Something and Peach Happy, 5 times with Meowser and Luigi Vacation. So that is our top 10. Rounding out the top 15, PD Piranha Me Racing Suit at number 11, Santa Me Racing Suit at 12, King Mario at 13, Light Blue Shy Guy Explorer at 14, and 15 has the regular Piranha Plant Me Racing Suit. So, Antilev, what's your thoughts on the top 10 drivers?
Yeah, I think I'm not 100% sure on this, but I think this might be the first time Santa Me Racing Suit cracks the top 15, which is kind of disappointing because it's been out for 9 months. But no, I think Larry Me Racing Suit is really, like, if you're considering investing in this one now, do it now. This is really kind of when it's peaking. Larry Me Racing Suit and Morton Me Racing Suit kind of came out at the same time, and Morton has been kind of disappointing, I gotta be honest, compared to him. He's sitting down at number 32, while Larry Me Racing Suit. Now, granted, the model gives a bit more value to Boomerang than to Giant Banana, just because it has higher scoring potential. So, of course, it depends on your feelings about Boomerang. But if you're really going for min-maxing, I think this is a Me suit that you absolutely need to go into, regardless of the status of your account. If you have, even if you only have 15 or 20 Me suits out of the 60 or so that we have now, it's still worth it, I would say.
Yeah, I'm aligned with you there. Let's move to karts. At number 10, we have the Sakura Sports Coupe. 33 assumed tracks, 11 cities, 40 tracks left to see. This pairing with the Sakura Sports Coupe includes 19 of the 332 tracks, adding 92. It does have 6 overlap with the Jumbo Jetter and Warrior Wagon, 4 overlap, though, with the Mumu Off-Roader and Taiko Drum Dasher. So some of these are meta items, so it's definitely worth noting. We have the Rainbow Taxi at number 9, up 2 spots, 37 assumed tracks, 11 cities, 4 tracks left to see. One of the better tours for the Rainbow Taxi. These pairings cover 120 of the 332 tracks. It does overlap with the Streetle and the Blooper Shuttle 7 times, and the Camo Tanuki Kart 5 times. At number 8, we have the Silver Cupid's Arrow, up 1 spot to number 8. 25 assumed tracks, 10 cities, a whopping 148 tracks left to see, which is really, really good. If you have to invest in it, don't hesitate, go for it. It's still got a lot of room to grow. It does overlap 5 times with the Mumu Off-Roader and the Boo Pipes, 4 times with the Jumbo Jetter and the Blue Crawley Cart. which again, some of those are meta items, so just be aware of that. Red Comet, 30 assumed tracks, 8 cities, at number 7, up 3 spots to break into the top 10. 116 tracks left to see. 117 out of the 332 tracks are covered with the pairing, and then a lot of karts overlap with it 6 times, including I'm gonna butcher the name, but this is the Mark 8R or something like that. I forget its name, to be honest with you. Pink Speeder. You remember what it is?
8R.
There you go. I haven't seen it much since it's been out. We have the Cream B-Dasher Mark II and the Jumbo Jetter. 5 overlaps with the Streetle and Rainbow Streetle and Blooper Shuttle. So, I mean, I think the Pink Speeder and, the Blooper Shuttle is like really all you have to worry about. I think the Red Comet's a pretty safe investment if you don't mind having a pretty, maybe not as exciting as, say, the Jumbo Jetter or Blooper Shuttle when you come to the looks, but its coverage is really, really good. Pink Speeder at number 6, hold down that spot. 35 assumed tracks, 16 cities, 4 tracks left to see. The pairing covers 122 of the 332 tracks. Does overlap 7 times with the Red Off-Roader, 6 times with the Moo Moo Off-Roader and Red Comet, 5 with the Blazing Eagle and the Silver Cupid's Arrow. So, I mean, when you look at this overlap, these are a lot of large carts. The Pink Speeder is not a large cart. So, I love pink. I love the way this looks, but I think just based on its size, you have to be aware of what these meta carts that are much larger are doing. So just be aware of that. At number 5, we got the Rainbow Streetle. 34 assumed tracks, 12 cities, 24 tracks up to see. This pairing covers 117 of the 332 tracks. Does overlap 7 times with the Rainbow Taxi and the Blooper Shuttle. 6 times with the Jumbo Jetter and Tyco Drum Dasher. 5 times with the Moo Moo Off-Roader, Red Comet, and the Silver Cupid's Arrow. I'm not sure if just, the Moo Moo Off-Roader and Silver Cupid's Arrow and, Blooper Shuttle just happen to overlap a lot, but we've been talking a lot about them, and just worth noting as some of the meta overlaps with each other. The Blue Crawley Kart, 36 assumed tracks, 6 cities, does overlap 8 times with one of the best karts in the game, the Armored Rider, 7 times with the Shielded Speedster, 5 times with the Warrior Wagon and Blooper Shuttle. So just be aware of that. I know you said Antilev. This one maybe not make sense for your account. I assume that's because of the Shielded Speedster. But just because I know you and I invested in that one pretty strong. But I have not invested...
And Armored Rider.
And Armored Rider. Yeah, so I did not invest in the Armored Rider or, the Silver Warrior Wagon or the Blooper Shuttle. So it made just enough sense for me to go into it, despite the 7 overlaps with the Shielded Speedster. But again, you have to kind of weigh that out for your account. It's a really large hitbox for that Blue Crawley. Blazing Eagle, one of the widest karts in the game, not quite as long as some of the others to make it the best hitbox, but I think it is the widest for what it's worth, if that's more important to you than the actual general hitbox. 33 assumed tracks, 20 cities, seen every track in the game. This pairing covers 120 of the 332 tracks. Does overlap 5 times with the Gold Shield Speedster and Red Off-Roader and the Boo Pipes. 6 times with the Blooper Shuttle. Moo Moo Off-Roader, this has 36 assumed tracks, 12 cities, seen every track in the game. This pairing covers 123 of the 332 tracks. Those overlap 5 times with the Warrior Wagon, the Rainbow Streetle, the Gold Shield Speedster, and 4 times with the Black Shield Speedster. Now, I know that some of those 2 karts are my favorite. I also love the Moo Moo Off-Roader, but 5 overlaps, 4 overlaps, not that big of a deal when you're thinking about 36 assumed tracks in 6 cities, or 12 cities. I wouldn't be too concerned necessarily about some of those. 5 is not a lot, comparatively. Blooper Shuttle, 40 assumed tracks, 9 cities, 4 tracks left to see. These pairings cover 123 of the 332 tracks. Those overlap 7 times with the Rainbow Taxi, 6 times with the Blazing Eagle, 5 times with Tyco Drum Dasher, and the Armored Rider. So some meta level karts there as well. And that concludes our top 10. You see a little bit of movement there. But again, just everything went up this tour. Just some things went up more than others. To round out the top 15, we have the Tyco Drum Dasher at 11, Rainbow Pipe Buggy at 12, Swift Talon at 13, Silver Warrior Wagon at 14, and Jumbo Jetter at 15. Shout out to Alchemist, who hits membership for 13 months, man. Awesome. Definitely rewind and catch up with us. But Antilev, what's your thoughts on the top 10 carts?
Yeah, no real surprises here. I think it's all kind of more or less expected. Yeah, it's like you said, the Looper Shuttle got buffed, so everything else kind of went down relative to it, unless it got better buffs. I think the biggest surprise here is actually the Swift Talon jumping 9 spots to 13th with those 3 great buffs. And Silver Warrior Wagon appearing for the first time in the top 15. But yeah, other than that, I don't think there's a whole lot to talk about.
Good. Yeah, I've been keeping my eye on the Silver Warrior Wagon. It's been doing pretty well. Let's talk about gliders. Let's move into number 10, 8-Bit Goomba, which had a great tour this tour. 35 assumed tracks, 8 cities, 32 tracks up to see. This pairing, including the gold boom masks, which is nice to see up there, covering 126 of the 332 tracks. Does overlap 7 times with the Calico Tobian balloons and the block glider, 8-Bit block glider. 6 times with a couple gliders, including most notable the 8-Bit super glider, fuzzy kite, wiggler parachute, I think, and then the red checkered. And 5 times with the gold hard hat balloons. At number 9, Sakura origami glider, unfortunately taking a little bit of a slide, down 3 spots. But it still has crazy coverage. We're talking about 39 assumed tracks, 12 cities, seen every track in the game. This pairing covers 124 of the 332 tracks. Does overlap 7 times with the 8-Bit Super Glider. That is notable. That's a pretty good glider in the game. 6 times with the pink checkered and the black star chute. 5 with the lava rocks and boo masks. We have Wonderful Diamond, which also took a little bit of a slide, down 4 spots to number 8, 34 assumed tracks, 10 cities, 20 tracks up to see. This pairing covers 121 of the 332 tracks. Does overlap 9 times with the Rainbow Fair Flyer and the 8-Bit Super Glider, 8 times with the Parapanini and the Festive Holly, 7 times with the 8-Bit Gold Glider and the Red Checkered Glider. At number 7, we have this gold 8-Bit glider we just discussed. It's actually quite a mover and shaker. Went up 6 spots to number 7. 36 assumed tracks, 10 cities, 32 tracks left to see. This pairing covers 124 of the 332 tracks. It does overlap 7 times with the... what's up, bud? Okay, I'll be up in a little bit. Okay, I'll be up in a little bit, all right? Give me about 15 minutes, bud. All right, we have the gold 8-Bit, sorry about that, overlaps 7 times with the Wonderful Diamond and the yellow hard hat balloons, 5 times with the gold hard hat balloons, Smiley Flower Glider, Golden Glider, and Nabbit Parachute. At number 6, we have the 8-Bit Block Glider, up 3 spots this tour. 36 assumed tracks, 9 cities, 32 tracks left to see. This pairing covers 124 of the 332 tracks. We have the Autumn Leaves and the Fire Manta Glider, which it's kind of a quiet tour for the Fire Manta Glider. Obviously, it makes sense because, kind of got ice and snow type themes, but it's been having a hot summer. Just kind of noting that from that respect. But that alongside the Autumn Leaves overlaps 7 times with the 8-Bit Block Glider, 6 times with the Nabbit Parachute, the Red Checkered, Wonderful Garnet, and the 8-Bit Goomba. At number 5, we had the gold hard hat balloons, up 3 spots to number 5. 39 assumed tracks, 11 cities, 4 tracks left to see. This pairing covers 126 of the 332 tracks. Does overlap 7 times with the Fire Manta Glider, 6 times with the Fuzzy Kite and Golden Glider, 5 times with the Question Block Glider, Goomba, and 8-Bit Goomba, and 8-Bit Super. At number 4, we have this Nabbit Parachute, up 1 spot, 38 assumed tracks, 11 cities, still 24 tracks left to see, still kind of newer. These pairings cover 125 of the 332 tracks. Does overlap 8 times. This is worth noting. 8 is a lot compared to what we've seen so far, and it is with a meta level glider. We have the wonderful Garnet. At overlap with it 6 times is the 8-bit question block glider and the 8-bit Goomba glider. And then 5 times with the 8-bit gold glider. At number 3, Yellow Hard Hat Balloon, 37 assumed tracks, 14 cities, 4 tracks left to see. This pairing covers 125 of the 332 tracks. Does overlap 8 times with this Mosaic star shoot, which is interesting. It's kind of a newer glider. It's a lot of overlap for a newer glider to have with it. 7 overlaps with these 4 gliders, including the Autumn Leaves 8-bit Super Glider, 8-bit Gold Glider, and Fuzzy Kite. 6 with the Yoshi Cookies. At number 2, we have this wonderful Garnet, 40 assumed tracks. That's a lot of tracks. 13 cities, 4 tracks left to see. This pairing covers 125 of the 332 tracks and does overlap 9 times with the Pear Panini, 8 times with the Nabbit Parachute, and the 8-bit Super Mushroom, 7 with the Pink Checkered, and the 6 with the 8-bit Block Glider. And then finally, at number 1, we have the 8-bit Super Glider, 41 assumed tracks, 8 cities, 32 tracks left to see. That's a lot of tracks and still some tracks left to see, which is great. This pairing covers 124 of the 332 tracks. It does have 9 overlaps with the Super Mario Bros. Parafoil, the Wonderful Diamond, and the Festive Holly. 8 overlaps with the red emblem, and 7 with the yellow hard hat balloon. So a lot of overlaps, some with meta items, some with not. But again, 9 overlaps is a lot. But that's what happens when you have 41 assumed tracks, which is absolutely insane for a relatively newer glider. That concludes our top 10. To round out the top 15, we have Calico Tomy Balloons at 11, Black Star Shoot at 12, Festive Holly at 13, Golden Glider at 14, and Yoshi's Cookies at 15. Antilev, what's your thoughts on the top 10? I'm going to step away for 1 second.
Yeah, I think there's 2 main stories here. The first is that the 8-bit Super Glider is absolutely not slowing down. It got 4 buffs, and if you look at the actual top 10 ranking sheet, you see almost every glider on the list went down in value. That's because 8-bit Super Glider is already number 1, and the scores are normalized to 100 for the first place item. So, like for example, the Wonderful Garnet went down from a score of 98.18 to 94.01. It dropped 4 points, which is huge normally. But the Wonderful Garnet actually got 2 buffs. It got a Sky High Sundae T and RMX Vanilla Lake 2R. So even one of those buffs was like a new track. So like pretty good buffs, and it still dropped 4 points. So it just shows how insane the buffs that 8-bit Super Glider got. And it's the same, as Studfit asked me earlier, hey, Sakura Origami is in ranked twice. Why did it go down 3 spots, and why did it drop 4.5 points? It's because of the Super Glider being so strong, and because these 8-bit gliders are just going insane right now. 8-bit Block Glider, Gold 8-bit Glider both got crazy buffs. 8-bit Goomba didn't get crazy buffs, but it did get good buffs, 2 new tracks. That's really the story at the moment. These 8-bit items are just sweeping. Other than that, the Golden Glider made a huge jump, 20 spots to 14, and Yoshi's Cookie 7 spots up to 15. That's really it. Yeah, Star Shoot falls out of the top 10 for the first time in a long time.
Crazy. Yeah, and the Boom Masks kind of. They both were in the top 10 for quite some time, and now they're both outside the top 15, with Boom Mask kind of leading the way. But you alluded to it a little bit there earlier. Let's talk about the rest of the movers and shakers. You kind of talked about the Golden Glider going up 20 spots to number 14. Some other bigger movers and shakers going on. So let's dive into those. What's going on, Natenja? Congratulations to those 5 members. Natenja, our unicorn stud member, has gifted out. So congratulations to Tony, Flo, Ryan G, High Mileage, Low Rent, Matthew Butler, and congratulations. That's exciting. Thank you again, Natenja. Appreciate that. Good, man. And then one of the things I see Puffton out there as well. Hopefully you're doing well, Puffton. Thanks for everything you do. Let's talk about the movers and shakers. I would say like anything above 100, I'm probably not going to spend too much time talking about, but Waluigi Misut did go up 26 spots to number 44, which is notable. Wiggler went up 24 spots to 49, broke the top 50.
Yeah, I think that's the most interesting one.
That one is interesting. Maybe we're seeing kind of a changing of the tide there for Wiggler as he kind of had a slower start. As for, I think both, I mean, honestly, it's a big tour for all Wigglers. You see Wiggler Me going up 23 spots to 29. Broke the top 30, which is great for the Wiggler Me. We'll see what happens. We really haven't seen a giant banana Me suit do really well in our top 10. Hopefully that changes.
Well, we got the yellow suit, but not a
That's true. That's true. We do have yellow suit. Yeah, that's a good point. Hopefully Wiggler is up there. I hope he breaks the top 15 next tour. That'd be awesome.
Me too.
And then kind of the rest of it's not quite as notable. I will say some blue racing suit and Wendy and stuff. But I mean, ultimately, guys, I mean, what you're really happy about is Wiggler Me finally moving up. We'll see how high they go. As for karts, the biggest mover, the Spicy Zucchini. Obviously, you got 5 buffs. Happy to see it move up 45 spots. Unfortunately, based on the city tour that came in, it's still 165 on our list. So still has a long way to go, but the Blazing Eagle has shown us that it can be done. Gold Wild Slugger went up 43 spots to 161. I'll kind of skip down. Blue Sub Scooter. This is a good one. 34 spots to 87. Dolphin Drifter up 33 spots to 91. I really hope this Dolphin Drifter does well. It looks awesome. Feels great. Yeah. It's nice and wide and fun. Boo Pipes. This is one a lot of people went into early. This was a big tour for it. Went up 29 spots to 45, just in time for the Halloween time coming up here. We could see this one breaking into the top 10 around that period of time. We'll see what happens. And then Fishbone Fairy, you talked about this one, went up 26 spots to 58. Amazing coverage, but just super tanny. So it's kind of like one of those streetle type of carts where it could do really, really well. Last but not least, gliders. Let's talk about the ones making the biggest jump. We talked about earlier is the commemorative item. They're back as a commemorative item again. The Flying Flappers up 24 spots to number 45. We'll see what happens. It's kind of a late bloomer. We'll see if it's just like a temporary thing just so that we pull out our wallets, or if it's going to continue to see some success here. But the Mosaic Starchute went up 23 spots to number 66 on our list. Gold Checker Glider went up 21 spots to 63. We talked about this. Golden Glider went up 20 spots to 14. Huge jump there. One of the most notable movers of the entire tour. Jelly Chute went up 19 spots to 95. And then Rainbow Flappy Wings, 18 spots to number 80. Anything you want to mention here, Antilev?
I'm looking at the gliders that were I think you touched on all the interesting risers, but the fallers, which we don't display here, there's a lot of meta items that fell down. Tropical Balloons down 13 spots to 36. Fire Manta Glider down 11 spots to 37. Pink Magnifying Glass down 11 spots to 69. Lava Rocks down 10 spots to 31.
Wow.
Yeah, it's some good items really fell off, and I think we kind of got a little bit of a changing of the guard in this tour, where these 8-bit items are kind of really taking over, and some other newer items are replacing some of those older items, but they still have great coverage, but just not getting the buffs anymore.
Yeah. It's a good point, man. I think, certainly we're definitely seeing a new season, and some of the older items are just going to be left behind. We'll have to just accept it, as we always do. So let's talk about the ranked items. There are some unlocks you might want to be aware of, and they're kind of sneaky, to be honest with you. For week 1, the Ice Mario Cup, we have the Gold Soft Swerve at level 6 unlock, the Melon Banana Balloons, which that's a week 2, right? So you don't even.
No, that's week 1.
Reward. That's right. So you can't use it.
That's a Spotlight Shop. You can buy with rubies. The gold chocolate balloons is the week 2 reward.
That's right. You're right. Yeah. Appreciate you clarifying that. Level 6 unlock for the melon and banana balloons, and then the ice cream mini bus at level 8. You can unlock it to use on. This guy has Sundae. For Remix Vanilla Lake 2 Gold Wiggler. This is very important. Gold Wiggler. You can unlock him at level 6 and use him on this track. It's really, really useful if you do not have the Mii's. It's not. I think regular Wigglers on that or something, but it's a really tough one to cover. Wiggler Gold is who you want to be using at a level 6, if at all possible, unless you're using the Mii's at the base points that are absolutely breaking it. But I mean, there's even a case where you could be using Santa Mii Racing Suit with buying all the suits. At what 2040 or something like that if you have them triple uncapped. Or you could be using Wiggler, at 1430, and you might outscore it because I think for a lot of people using Lucky 7, you're going to be probably capping out like 175, 180 actions versus getting 200 actions with the Coinbox driver. So that might make up those base points and might make the difference. So just be aware of that. You may say, I don't need them. I got the me suits. Hey, there's still a situation, even for me, where I'm weighing those options and saying, you know what, maybe Wiggler Gold or Gold Diggler is the way to go. And this is where we're referring to the gold chocolate balloons. Unfortunately, you can't use this one quite yet, but level 8 unlock for what it's worth. And then for Rosalina's Highest World R, gotta take a deep breath. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to go list them all, but you do have part-time Lakitu level 6 unlock because he's a plus skill. Really the rest of it, you're probably going to be using some better options. I would say this is a great track for PD Piranha Gold, as he's got that, I believe he's got a Coinbox exclusive on this track. There are some plus skills here, like Lakitu Party Time, like Nabbit, but hopefully you're using PD Piranha Gold if you took him, like I did, really, really, really high, really early, and been finally getting to use him in ranked, which is nice. As for the carts, got Dreamy Egg, level 3, along with the White Bruiser, Party Wing, and Lunar Cruiser at level 6 unlock, Bumblebee at level 8 unlock. For gliders, you have the New Year's 2021 at level 3. You have the Gold New Year's Kite, the Galaxy Glider, Pink Gold Meteors, all level 6 unlocks. Blue Piranha Fuda, if you have that at level 8.
You definitely do that one.
At level 8? Yeah, sure. And Butterfly. We're not serious, just totally joking about that.
Yeah.
Butterfly Wings at level 8 unlock. We have a little too much fun. As for week 2, again, maybe you haven't taken a look at these tracks yet. It's the Tanuki Mario Cup. So you got some boosts there for him. You have Luigi Circuit RT. Again, this is one of the tougher tracks to cover next week. You have Luigi Gold Knight at level 8 unlock. That might be a really sneaky option for some people. Using Coinbox on that is going to be really, really helpful. Waluigi Racer Mark II, a level 6 unlock, and then Chocolate Mint Soft Swerve, a level 8 unlock. A very sneaky one there. Some people might want to take that card up. It's a level 8 unlock. It's kind of high, but that's a really nice track to have with a bigger hitbox there. As for the Remix Vanilla Lake 2 RT, a sneaky one here, Spooky Sprinkles balloons at level 8. If you want to go ahead and get ahead of the curve, like Jeeves, like others in the community,
like me, I did it,
and Antilev. If Antilev does it, it's worth looking into. Level 8 unlock is great, and this is a tough track to cover for sure. Sky High Sundae R, you have White Tanuki Mario at level 8 unlock, Strawberry Sauce Swerve at level 8 unlock, which some people have invested in it to 6 or 7. You might want to look at it for level 8. Icy's Mario Mustache at level 8, Vanilla Chocolate Balloons as well at level 8. So those are the unlocks for ranked. The items that you're using the multiple times, you have Wiggler Gold, obviously, thanks to the level 6 unlock, used 3 times. This is a big tour for him, not both in ranked and also in all cup ranking. Some of the Luigi circuits are tough for him to cover and everything, but I think he, as we've kind of talked about, this is one of the best starts for a Coinbox driver in over a year, in my opinion. We have a number of drivers used twice, including Rosalina, Me Racing Suit, Birdo White, Mario Golf, Luigi Chef, Dr. Luigi, White Tanuki Mario, and Light Blue Me Racing Suit. As for carts, you have the Cream Bee Dasher Mark II used 3 times. You also have a number of carts used twice, thanks to some unlocks and some not. The clean twice used are Cleanup Hitter and Chocolate Banana Minibus and White Fast Frank. Thanks to a level 3 unlock, you can use White Bruiser twice. Thanks to a level 8 unlock, you can use the Ice Cream Minibus and the Strawberry Soft Swerve and the Chocolate Mint Soft Swerve 2 times. And then thanks to a level 6 unlock, you can use the Gold Soft Swerve twice. As for gliders, you can use the Spooky Sprinkle Balloons 3 times. I think that's why so many people are so excited about this tour. It looks beautiful. It has everything working for it. I actually feel like if you're going to invest in any glider this tour a little early, this is the one to do it. Thanks to that level 8 unlock, you can use it 3 times. A number of gliders you can use 2 times, just straight up, including the Polka Dot Manta Glider, Record Setter, Secure Origami Glider, Flying Flappers, Mint and Berry Balloons, and Tulip Corsage. Thanks to a level 6 unlock, you can use Galaxy Glider twice. Thanks to level 8 unlock, you can use Icy Mario's mustache and vanilla chocolate balloons. You can't really use it, but the gold chocolate balloons, hypothetically, you could be using twice. And then last but not least, this melon and banana balloons, thanks to a level 6 unlock, you can use twice as well. So there you go. That's ranked for this tour. Let's get into All Cup ranking. A lot of people, this is a really popular tour for people to go into All Cup ranking. As we noted at the very beginning, Antilev and I both were thinking that this would be a good tour for us to go into top 10. For me, it had to just do with time. I'm on vacation. I'm just hanging out here at the house. And I've been able to do a couple of tracks just for fun. But there are about 13 people going for top 10. And I was doing the math. I would have to get like 97.5%, which would take me probably somewhere between 80 to 100 hours to get. And so, although I could potentially do that if I used that much time, I'm probably just, and then at that point in time, that's just to get like to 3.9 million. I'm sorry, 2.9 million, close to 3. So at that respect, it's worth it. Just zigging while everyone else is zagging, and not zigging while literally everyone else is zigging. But for those who are going for All Cup ranking, I've heard a number of people going for top 100, going for top 1,000. A lot of the reason is because not of the same reason as me, but more of the reason that for Antilev, which is just these tracks are so much fun. There's some really great tracks out there between DK Pass, DK Summit, even Rosalina's Ice World. There's some really, really fun tracks. Now, you do also have some of these vanilla lakes. You have some fun vanilla lakes, but a lot of them are not fun. And so just be aware of that. You also have some Luigi circuits that are really tough to cover. But overall, it's a really fun tour to go for All Cup ranking. So in preparation, you can use Penguin Mario 14 times, which is not necessarily a driver a lot of people are using, but that's a really high number. Wiggler, Gold Wiggler. If you're going to go for top anything in ACR, Gold Wiggler is a very good move for you to take up to at least level 6 for some of those unlocks, and maybe even double uncap, triple uncap, maybe even quad uncap for those if you really want to get it. It's just a really, really strong tour for him. Use 13 times. Ice Cream Meets Racing Suit. It's all over the place this tour for obvious reasons. A lot of sky high Sundays, etc. But not a plus skill. Might be tough to use. You're going to see some penguins on this list, including Penguin Toad, Penguin Toadette. You're going to see some other suits here that you don't really care about, and then even some Ice Mario in there. I will say the Silver Mew suit, not used very often in All Cup ranking. He is all over the place. Used a total of 9 times, which is absolutely insane. No unlocks either. It's just literally just straight up 9 times, which is crazy. For karts, Ice Dozer everywhere. In fact, I triple uncapped level 8 mine. I love the dozers in general. This was one of my favorite. I know a lot of people. In fact, this is when I was doing the studs and duds, and I gave it a stud, and it wasn't that great. So a lot of people gave me a hard time for this specific cart, but here it is, paying off a year and a half later after I probably called it a stud. It is used a whopping 18 times. If you ever go for All Cup ranking in a snow tour, this is a great cart to have. Another great one to also have is the Romby Runner. It has a lot of snow tracks as well, and some of these DK stuff is in addition. Cream B-Dasher Mark II used 15 times, Frosty Bells 12, Black Penguin Slider 12, and a number of other icy related items. Even some Frostwing and Cacti, etc. So I think overall, in general, if you have an ice card, if it has ice in the name, you're probably going to use it a lot this tour. And then last but not least, for gliders, you have the Roar Balloons used 14 times, Snow Crystals 12, Icy's Mario's Mustache, and Spooky Sprinkles used 12 times as well. Silver Surf Master, Galaxy Glider, Melon and Banana Balloons, Polka Dot Manta Glider, Glittering Glider, and Gold Chocolate Balloons. I feel bad even saying it every time because you're not going to really be able to use it. So there you go. Also, the new edition, we have the Me coverage. This is a lot to see, so I kind of broke it down into 2 slides. We'll start and actually talked to Raker85 who put this together, and he gave me a little blurb to read to you guys. So actually, I found it very, very helpful. But when it comes to the Me coverage overview, for the in addition to just presenting, okay. For plus skill Miis, it's clearly the Silver Mii suit. You use 9 tracks. This is quite extraordinary. In most tours, this is only used for a few tracks. For non-plus skill Miis, you think the Ice Cream Mii is a good option with 12 tracks this tour. But if you dig a little deeper, you'd see that 9 out of those 12 are also covered by a plus skill Mii. In fact, the newly introduced light blue Mii is the MVP. You can use him 10 times, thanks to a double boost on a battle course, of which one is included. But more importantly, on his 6 tracks, there's not a single plus skill Mii. We've highlighted these tracks in light blue. Furthermore, on one additional track, there is only 1 plus skill Mii, which is the silver Mii, that not everyone has at level 8 or level 8-4. Also on that track, the Rosalie Ice World T, the base action count, the final column, is already 190, and even 200 may be possible with a non-plus skill Mii. So you can also see the base action count targets for the other tracks there. So for if you're looking at like the DKR data, and you can also see that the base numbers of the light blue Mii tracks are generally high. DK Summit RT even at 210 actions. He also has the remix of Vanilla Lake 1T, which has Painter Luigi as the only plus skill driver. Got to think this is the best start for a non-plus skill Mii. So if you want to go into the brand new Mii, that blue one, that's great. And so you can kind of see a lot more of this, hopefully on Reddit, or you can check it out on Discord. But thank you again to Raker85 for putting this together. The way that this works is the Mii plus skills are on the far left. The non-plus skill Miis are there in the middle, and then the non-Mii plus skills are on the far right. So this is actually really, really sneaky. There's a couple options. I would say for the if you're looking at Vanilla Lake 2 RT, just as an example, you got the gold Mii and the Wiggler and no Miis, and then there's some others ones where you have some sneaky options. Some that you might have a cup boost, such as say DK Pass R, where you have the question block Mii racing suit, which is certainly a 200 action count track regardless. But again, plenty of great options. So thank you again to Raker. With that being said, that concludes the rundown. So Antilev, I appreciate your patience as I ran through a lot of that the final information. But what do you think about the store?
Yeah, it's awesome. I love cold weather stuff. I love snow and ice tracks. I even like the Vanilla Lake 1 tracks, except for RT. That one sucks. But yeah, so I decided in the end not to invest for top 10. Not because I wouldn't be able to get it, but because I don't want to just sneak into the bottom of the top 10. And with all this competition, I decided not going to happen. I am still going to do ACR. Actually, I'm going to stream some of my ACR runs right after this. So I'll post a link in the chat if anybody wants to join. I'll be streaming for probably an hour and a half, something like that, if they want to come watch. And I'll be streaming more during this tour, ACR runs.
Yeah, no, definitely. If you like to check out some streams, definitely check out Antilev. I think from that perspective, appreciate the Draco raid that happened during the stream. Thank you for all of those who joined in on the fun on the stream. Appreciate you hanging out with us for 2 hours to talk about a cartoon go-kart game. But just some shout-outs to those who stuck around. Shout out to Natenja. I see Juan Ortiz. Alberto, how are you doing, Alberto? Alberto helps us out with these slides as well. So great. Shout out to Alberto. Thank you very much. I see Sana, Hash Brown, Domo, Ryan G. So again, thank you guys for sticking around. Thanks for hanging out with us. Yeah, I think overall, wrapping up this tour, this is Wiggler's time to shine, man. We got Gold Diggler hanging out. Wiggler's doing really well. Wiggler Mii's doing really well. Ultimately, this is a great tour to go for. Really, if you want to go for all cup ranking, it's going to be competitive, but it's going to be a really fun one. A lot of great tracks to go for. But I think overall, this is one of the best starting coverages for any Coinbox driver, which is exactly what you want. I think this is a fun tour it's just nice to be back to normal. I think after the city tracks and nitro tracks,
yeah,
I know it's technically nitro, but there's just so many fun tracks. Like this is what I remember about Mario Kart tours, DK Summit and Rosalie Ice World, and like just some fun tracks to get out there. I'm excited to continue grinding. Thank you guys for tuning in. Until next time, may the